How's everybody doing? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Oh my goodness, lights. Let me know if you can see me. A little bit of humid. My hair's like kind of doing its weird thing. So y'all are gonna get like this super poofy hair purple today. But hopefully everybody's doing well. Um, let's see. I never play games on Thursday. And hopefully this thing worked and it didn't create two chats. So I'm hoping AV good. Okay. All right. All right. Good, 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 good. So, sometimes it does the two chat thing. But we have a ton of stuff to talk about today. And Simpleton's here. Simpleton, how is your Silk Song day going? I think you and Rudix are like the main Silk Song people in the community. Well, at least the ones who've talked about it. I know you thought it was really good. Rouster, what is going on? Shinobi, how am I liking Shinobi? I'm liking it. I'm probably, as far as the actual main game goes, I'm probably halfway through. And as far as like I'm where I just completed the submarine level. And so prior to that, like I've basically they're 100% each level or I've 90%. So I have not done all the, I forget what they call it, the rifts. I haven't done all those because those are hard. But hey, hopefully everyone's doing well. Mel, how are you doing? You're another person I would expect is doing the Silk Song tour right now. So hopefully everyone's doing well. I'm really excited about this conversation today. So shout out to Zalik, who's out in stream. She has amazing playthroughs. She just finished Detroit Become Human, and she got one of the she didn't get the worst ending. We'll say it like that. But no, she's super cool, and she's playing Cyberpunk right now. But she, Ambi in the Discord has created this thing. Like if there's like a topic that you want me to do a deep dive into, we have that part in the Discord, like what you want me to discuss, or maybe it's a video you want me to do or something. I thought this topic was pretty meaty, we're going to be talking about Tencent and Sony, but we're also going to talk about some other stuff. Like we got some trailers, it's not just going to be a Sony Tencent stream, but that is going to be a highlight. But there is going to be some stuff about Nintendo and a couple of other like smaller gaming news. So we'll see that. Don't care much for Silk Song, to be honest. Really, Mel? Wow. Hey, Joe, y'all. Joe, I saw I'm halfway through the new thing where you said you're starting over. So I'm halfway through that, Joe. I haven't finished it. I want to play Silk Song. It's downloaded to my ROG Ally, but I haven't started. I'm tired today. I have Game Pass, but I bought it on Steam, $20. It's just crazy for a game today, so I'll support that. I don't think so. I think it was 15 before, now it's 20 now. But I think like for that, like 20 to 30, I think is kind of its sweet spot. And I mean, I'm happy it's 20. But I don't think it's crazy. I think for what it is, it's a decent. I don't think it could charge 50. I'll say that. Some people are like, I would pay 60 for this. I'm like, I highly doubt you would have, like, it could have got away with 60. But that's just me. But I hope y'all are enjoying it for those who want to play it. I did submarine level 2. Yeah, that's where I'm at. But yeah. So, like I said, we have several, barely even played Hollow Knight. It just didn't click for me. Mel, I think we talked about this. Like it didn't even for me. They're saying this one moves better. A lot of people who are really into like Metroidvanias are saying it's easier than Hollow Knight, which I don't really care one way or the other on when it comes to like a platforming Metroidvania, like action adventure hack and slash type of game. Because I'm the type who's just going to keep going at it until I get it. But the difference in movement does make a difference for me. It's just that, like, I don't know. It would have to be something I play where, like, I'm looking for a new Metroidvania experience from what I've traditionally been playing, and then I'll go to it. But yeah, I would say I didn't really click for it. I found myself getting excited about other things. So yeah. Oh, not a basic. I would have just stuck to Game Pass at that point. Yep, that's a good point. Hey, Rebellica, what's going on? Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow. Now you're talking more dev nonsense. Nope. Well, awesome, Joe. We'll definitely have you on in the Discord, and we'll put it out when you go live. Busy chat today. I think so. I think very, very talkative. But yeah, we're going to be talking about some stuff. I do have some games. You know how I do this. I'm going to give you some games. I'm going to give you some news, and then we're going to jump into like the meaty topic. But I actually have two meaty topics. It's just the title's only really about one. But before that, we got to do some stuff. We don't have too many of them, but I would be negligent if I didn't give some of the biggest gaming news of this week as far as new trailers that dropped. So you'll probably not recognize this one when it first starts off, but I had to put it in there, and then we have two more after that. So we'll do those. And 3, 2, 1. All right, here's the first one.
I'm not loving the odds.
No, I've had worse.
In that case.
Well, what are we waiting for? No sign of 009.
We need to inform M.
No time. I'm going after him. Make him call off the attack.
Are you out of your mind?
I'll be careful. He'd bin the phone.
Go to the security room, first floor.
And you are?
Rob Minkley.
He's with me.
Come on, Moneypenny. If I lose the trail, we'll never know who they're working for. Oi, you lads got a faulty coffee machine? I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
You're not. Damien, meet...
Bond. James Bond.
If 009 slips through our fingers, we're the last line of defense.
Someone just tried to kill me.
Tell me you caught him.
Any sage advice?
Play nice.
Always.
So that is 007 First Light coming from IO Interactive. So if you did not know, IO Interactive are the people who did Hitman. So if you saw some like Hitman vibes in there, that is why that is. But make no doubt about it, it is definitely 007. I also thought it was pretty cool that we saw Amazon on there. I think it's the first time I've seen Amazon MGM Studios as far as like in a game. So I thought that was unique. I don't know. I'm kind of geek like that when it comes to things. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to be really curious how it compares. So I probably will pick this up. I'm not saying it's going to be like, oh, I have to play it like Little Nightmares. Like that's like that tier. But I am going to say that it's probably something I am going to pick up. It's going to probably be where I put Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like I bought it, I played it, but I put it down. Eventually I'll come back to it. It's going to probably be in that tier, but it is something I am curious because Hitman's a game that initially I was not into. And it wasn't until like someone showed to me like how it's like a puzzle in a way that I got into Hitman. Now, based upon that trailer, it does seem like there's a little bit more narrative and story than what would traditionally be in Hitman. So I am curious how that's going to play out. But yeah, that is James Bond 007 First Light. I'm not saying it's going to be like a GoldenEye equivalent or anything like that, but It looks pretty interesting. I think they did what they had to do as far as like explosions and story and obviously the iconic music. I mean, it's funny that we're going to be talking about IP today because like you saw so much like what makes 007 007 in that trailer. And I thought that was like super, super cool. And also I thought was pretty cool is some of those scenes are actually similar stages or scenes in the Hitman trilogy. So I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll see how it does. Hey, Dash wants to what's going on. Carlos Larry, hey, what's going on? It'd be cool if they kept him cast for the next movie, but I doubt it. I don't know. I mean, I still like Daniel Craig. I don't know why. I like the gritty 007, but a lot of people don't. I did. Obviously, that did not look like a gritty 007. That looked like more of the button-up type. But yeah, it's gonna be there. I don't know. It just seems it had a cool stuff, but just can't seem excited. No problem, Zalik. No problem. It's not for everybody. Not for everybody. That's what I say. I don't think everybody's going crazy for Silksong, and me and Mel and I just were like, maybe. But that's hey, like that's why there's a plethora of games out there. Hitman is awesome. Gameplay wise, the new ones are more fun, but story wise, I like the older ones. That's interesting. So let's see if they bring any of that forward. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna try to tie into like the James Bond universe, right? I think that's what's interesting about the like 007 is that if we go back to like the game that put 007 on the map for video games, in my opinion, that's GoldenEye. And GoldenEye, the game, is very like GoldenEye, the movie, right? Like, and so I don't know if this is going to tie in or if it's going to be like kind of like an offshoot. We heard some mentions of 009 in there. So like I said, I'm going to be interested from like a story perspective. Gameplay wise, it looks like it's a game that's meant to be beat. And I said this about the Indiana Jones game that like it's meant to be beaten. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a challenge. And so in those types of games, I think everything has to be super buttoned up and polished, and you can't get overly gamey with your mechanics. It's just me personally. And so yeah, it's gonna be interesting how they thread that needle. And again, I'm that's why I'm kind of interested in Amazon. I'm kind of interested like how they partner with IO Interactive. Because if you think about it, 007's not like Hitman's game engine works for Hitman because Hitman is a Hitman. 007's not necessarily a Hitman. So yeah, stuff like that is what gets me like, let me go check that out. You know what I mean? It's probably just an issue. I mean, they added Matt's character from Casino Royale and Hitman 3 recently. Really? Oh, they did. They did do that spinoff. I remember that. We'll see. So, but that is 007. I think it's like the biggest one, but there's a couple others. There's and I'm going to show those right now. So here's an interesting one that I thought it looked interesting. So, yeah. We'll talk about it afterwards. Hirogami, yes, and Ravalik, I actually got that one just for you because I feel like I don't have enough for my cozy gamer, types. But definitely, obviously, the Japanese influence with origami in there. But yeah, so that just recently released, launched, and looks interesting. I am always a fan of and I think I talked about this last time, when you can take an art form or a story and bring it to like a modern audience in a different way. Don't get me wrong, there's other games that use paper as like a medium to traverse through the game. That's not purely like, oh, that's never been done before. But I think the way they outlined this one, and with the type of gameplay it is, and the camera angles and the different things it can turn into, I thought that was pretty cool. And obviously it has like kind of more of that cozy feel to it. I mean, if that trailer's any indication of the score, it's gonna be amazing. So yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty cool. No, I thought it was cool. Like I said, I thought it was cool. For me, we'll see. I'm going to see how it kind of, how it arrives for the people who really like it. It's similar to, not in style, but as far as like excitement for me, Empire of Ants. So if you recall, last year that was a game that came out and looked beautiful. Like if you haven't played it, it's a beautiful game. You're like an ant and you kind of do things that ants do. And very pretty, right? It did not really make a lot of noise in the mainstream, but for the people who followed the book, because it's based upon a book, as well as it does have like a community, they really enjoyed it. And so I think Hirogami, I'm going to kind of be looking for the similar signals. Certain reviewers I like to follow, like what are they saying about it. But yeah, I like things like that. Like I think there's so much creativity in, sometimes what's right in front of us. And so yeah, for that reason, I'm a fan of it. Hey Squids, hey. Oh, Squids, y'all. Squids is the number 2 Shades of Purple guest. So Squid, you are always welcomed here. You are Shades of Purple royalty. But shout out to Squids doing his thing over there on Twitch. So happy to see you, Squids. Glad you can make it. Emily, what's going on? Thanks for joining. We're doing the podcast today where we talk about gaming news, and we're going to be diving deep into a topic because we did get suggestion, so we will do that. Nice, Squid, super awesome. Let us know which ones they are. But we got one more trailer, and then we're gonna jump in. And we're gonna dive deep. So I'm just preparing y'all. We're gonna go deep. All right. So this one, I don't know. I think you'll see why. You'll see the gameplay, and I think you'll understand why I'm excited about it. But yeah, or maybe you won't. So I'll have to explain that. But here we go.
I see you. A soul too bold for the quiet sleep. You've clawed your way into my domain, dragging your rage like a torch through snow. But fire dies, hero. Everything dies. Show me how long you can last. Come to hell. Here in hell, death is never final. You are not here to play nice.
Yeah, so y'all kind of picked up on it. Has like a Diablo vibe. It kind of had like a similar story vibe to like Darksiders in a way. Obviously it's that top down, not top down fully, but it's like kind of that angle from Diablo / Darksider Genesis. Different classes. You're going around. Some person that sounds and looks like Lilith is talking to you. So it gets me super excited all the way around. But yeah, I thought I would show that one. It was the first time I saw it. It was earlier this week. I think it's already been out for a little bit, but I haven't showcased it on this channel, so I thought I would do that. All right, thanks, Squids. I'll definitely have to go look at it. It's a roguelite, maybe. Well, Roster loves roguelites, so we'll have to see more about it. But yeah, that I only had three today because we have some topics to get into, but those are the three that I found super exciting. And I think next week we might be getting a Nintendo showcase. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But we might be getting more games here later on, and there's some that I missed over the last few weeks as well. So we'll probably be looking at more of those next week. All right. But with that said, let's get into what the title is. Let's dig deep into this. And so again, shout out to Zalik. So over the weekend or last Friday, Zalik sent a message on Discord. Again, go to the Discord. If there's a topic you want me to dive deep into, please put it in there. Shout out to Ambi who created that channel. And in it was Luke Stevens. So YouTuber has like 500,000 subscribers or something. He has a lot. And he was talking about the lawsuit between Sony and Tencent. And if you're not tracking this, Sony has an IP called Horizon. And in it, there's two of them with a spinoff from Lego, Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon. I forget what the other one is. But Sony owns that IP. Now, in addition to that, they've talked about how they're expanding that IP. So they're going to create another game. And they've also talked about bringing the franchise to the silver screen. And so for Sony, this is kind of like hits the mark on several different things. If you did not know, Sony has been constantly talking about the need that they are, or the lack of original IP they owned. And just recently, there's the big Netflix hit that just came out in which Sony owns the IP. Unfortunately, they sold the rights to Netflix. And so Netflix is reaping all sorts of rewards for this. So Sony is really protective right now of its IP, and it wants to hold on to the things that are very core to it, that are organic to it. It makes perfect sense. So what they did is they went, they're just doing great stuff, right? But Tencent, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Tencent here in a second, Tencent decided to create another game. And I'm going to show you some of the similarities here. So the game is called Light of Mortrium. And Light of Mortrium, as you can see, Horizon is at the top. Light of Mortrium is at the bottom. So very, very similar. Sony has went as far to say that this is a Slavic clone of the game. And so, as you can see, in most of the content and the commentary around this is like, hey, this is clearly a violation. They're ripping it off. They're copying it. And Sony is going to prevail. And so we're going to dig a little bit deeper into what that actually means. But as you can see, it's similar. I think we have a couple of more examples here. For Forbidden West. Yes, that's it, Zalik. So another example here. Again, very, very, maybe a little different color palette here, but as you can see, Horizon is on the right. And you have Light of Motrium on the left. Again, kind of similar mechanical beast. The protagonist, very similar. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second as well. And I think we have one more shot of this, right? So and there we go. Again, similar boss, similar riding a horse, mechanical horse going around. So obviously, very, very, very similar games. Some would say it's a direct ripoff, and that Sony is going to win. And so I always am like, okay, what is Sony gonna win? What's happening here? And to make matters worse for Tencent, and this has been well documented and talked about, to make matters worse for Tencent is that there are reports that Tencent went to Sony last year. Tencent went to Sony last year and asked if they could license out the Horizon IP, which Sony rejected outright, right? So this is like another nail in the coffin, because if this is true, it's going to basically provide evidence that Tencent copied Sony. So if you think about what I'm about to explain right now, think of it like an iceberg. I just explained to you level 1. All right. I just explained what we visually can see, right? It's pretty obvious, right? This is what people are talking about. It's the top of it. It's the most visible part of it. But as icebergs go, we know that it's going to be a little bit more underneath the surface. So now what I'm going to talk about is level 2. And level 2 is also what we already know. And that's that Tencent is being sued by Sony. So if you did not know, once Tencent showed this trailer, Sony immediately came out with the lawyers and said, nope, we are asking for an injunction to prevent this game from going forward. On top of that, we are going to sue you for every single violation that you have done against our basically our IP. So that's where I want to pick up the second layer of this iceberg. And so with that said, the second layer, I want to talk about what exactly does Sony need to prove to force Tencent not to put out the game. All right. The first thing that you look at, and it's slightly different in jurisdictions, but it's basically the same spirit of the law. And what that is the first thing is you have to prove that you own the IP, you own the trademark, you own the patent, you own the license for whatever it is claiming that someone else is copying you for. So in this regard, Sony is saying not only do they own the Horizon IP, they own the actual type of character, they own the actual type of scenery, the world, they own, and they have a full list of things that they say Tencent has violated. Now, I want you to keep that in mind, that is what they're saying. The second thing that they have to prove is like that they actually did violate the copyright, that they actually, not only does Sony own it, but you then have to show that Tencent actually copied it. All right. So if you're like, well, Purple, look, we just saw it, right? We just saw this basically the same thing, right? Yeah, I hear you. And so we're going to talk about that. And then the last thing you have to prove when you're dealing with this is, on top of saying like, I own this license, I own this IP, and on top of saying like, I know that they copied it, you then have to prove that they willfully copied it. Like they were so negligent. It wasn't like by happenstance that they just all of a sudden drew this game. Like it has to be clear, and this is very subjective, but it has to be clear that the game actually was copied. And so you're like, Purple, boom, Sony won this, right? Because look, Tencent tried to go and license the IP in 2024. So clearly they knew what they were doing, right? Like there is no hope for Tencent whatsoever. And I would agree with you, except I do think Tencent has a couple of cards up its sleeve. And the fact that this lawsuit is going to the public domain first should signal to you that Sony isn't so convinced that they're going to win in court. And now this is where we're going to get into the third layer of the actual argument that each one is making, the strengths and the weaknesses, and some counter examples. So that we know is where things stand. But to actually win in a copyright thing, there's something super important that the court always looks at, and that the people who issue patents and trademarks and who give you the copyright to begin with will always say, even when you apply to get something patent. And that is the simple idea that copyright law does not protect you from having a patent on the idea. They protect you from having a patent on the expression of the idea. So what does this mean? Well, this means that you can't patent the idea that you have a space game, right? Because that's a vast thing. You can't even copy the idea that you have a space game with a female protagonist, right? So the creators of Alien, right, Ridley Scott, can't patent that, right? Because that is kind of part of the genre. You can't patent an idea about I have something about medieval people fighting dragons. That is part of the genre. But you're like, Purple, this is kind of clearly the same thing, right? And I totally hear you. But we got a little bit more. And if you want to address something, just put @Purple in there so I can see that you want me to address a comment, because I'm about to dive deep and give you why Tencent, like I said, they're no stranger to this game. And so I'm going to give you a couple of examples of some similar games, and you're going to obviously see how they're different, but it's not quite to see how they're different. It's to show you how similar you can get to that line without crossing it. And that is, let's first look at this one. So the first one I want to show you is this game. All right, so on the left is a game called Tunic. On the right is a game called Zelda. Y'all know I love me some Zelda, even though Rudix would make fun of me because I have not beaten Tears of the Kingdom. But if you look at it, it's clear as day. Even the creators of Tunic have said they were inspired by Zelda, that this is the world of Tunic is actually the world of Zelda, except your hero's a protagonist. I mean, a fox. The protagonist is a fox. But virtually everything else in the game is very similar. The game mechanics are the same. The art style is very similar. How the characters are dressed up are very similar. The puzzles in the game are very similar. The sound effects in the game are extremely similar. But your main character is a fox. So does this mean that the only thing that separates Zelda from Tunic is literally the main character being a fox, given that the story is nearly the same? Well, everybody always says Nintendo's super greedy Nintendo and suing everybody. Well, guess what? Nintendo did not sue Tunic, right? As a matter of fact, you can actually go play Tunic on Nintendo. Right? But you're like, Purple, that's clearly no one's going to confuse these two. Zelda's too well known, and Tunic's it's not even meant to compete. Clearly they're not the same thing. But I want you to remember this, and Rouse, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to your monetary damage question here in a second, because I think this is where it gets super interesting as well. So actually, as you can see, what is that line? Is it literally the protagonist? That's it? The protagonist changes? Because Sony is claiming way more than this. And so when you go to court, right, and we've seen that Tencent is ready to fight. And if you did not know, Tencent is actually the largest gaming company in the world. All right. So this is not like your mom and pop game studio. This is like a legit powerhouse. And so maybe you're like, Purple, I'm not buying it. All right. I got you. Well, I'm going to give you another example. Here we go again. The game on the left is a game called Genshin Impact. The game on the right is a scene from Breath of the Wild. Now, when this game came out, Genshin Impact, which is a huge game, tons of publicity was made about this roughly 8 years ago to say this is clearly a Breath of the Wild clone. It's open world. The worlds look the same. Sure, the character art's a little bit different, but the actual world, and if you were to switch Link and put it over there where that character is, with that background, you would probably be like, yeah, that's Hyrule. And if you actually play Genshin, you would be like, yeah, this is Hyrule. This is very similar. I actually had Xerxes on my stream before, if you remember Xerxes, and she talked about Genshin Impact being like a Zelda clone, but instead you have multiplayer and so forth. This actually made so much of an issue back in Japan when Genshin Impact came out that and if you did not know, Genshin Impact is made by Tencent. People literally were going to the games booth at the games conferences where Tencent were at and were literally setting it on fire because it was that much of an affront to the Zelda IP. So again, where is that line between what is actually copying versus what is imitation, or inspiration? Again, this is Nintendo. This is the company that everybody says will sue you, will do everything they can. You would imagine that now I just showed you two things that if they really wanted to, like based upon like what people say about Nintendo, that they would easily jump over, right? Or jump onto. And I think that now comes into the next thing. And this is where, again, the case starts to turn in who has the upper hand, right? Again, we're only at that third level. We haven't got to the fourth level. So I'm about to give you something else that made a lot of waves within the gaming world and the IP world roughly 9 years ago. And that is this scene. Okay, so on the left here, you see Honor of Kings, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and League of Legends. All right, so just to get you updated, Honor of Kings and League of Legends are both owned by Tencent, like through their subsidiaries. And Mobile Legends is actually owned by another company like that's called like Moonsoon or something like that. And Tencent, the makers of Honor of Kings, now if you want to go look this up, go ahead, go look it up. Tencent with League of Legends sued Mobile Legends in the United States. If you look at these two games, it's clearly obvious that Mobile Legends copied League of Legends like almost verbatim. It's like the same game style. It's like the same art style. Heck, even some of the maps are the exact same. They actually went to court. And what would you know? Tencent lost that battle. And why did Tencent lose that battle? And I would challenge you, like, go look at Mobile Legends Bang Bang and go look at League of Legends, and you're going to be like, oh my God, this is like the same exact thing. Why did they lose it? And now this is starting to get to what Rouster was talking about. We're about monetary damages. Now, in order to actually issue monetary damages, you actually have to show actual damage. And usually you show actual damage by saying a consumer would be confused with the original IP and the copycat. Therefore, the original IP holder is going to lose some type of money. That's at like the very surface level, like what when you start to look at monetary damages. Well, the US courts in the League of Legends versus Mobile Legends case actually sided with Mobile Legends for a simple reason. They said at the end of the day, these aren't even the same consumers. League of Legends is mostly a popular game on PC. Mobile Legends is a popular game on mobile. How would someone get confused? They're on totally different platforms. Now, let's go back to what I was talking about between Tencent versus Sony. And that is simple. Where does Sony games, if you were to buy a Sony first party game, where are you most likely to play that game? On a PlayStation. Yes, there is some form of PC support there, but over 90% of Horizon was bought on PlayStation. Where is Tencent mostly dominated in for a gaming where you play games? Mobile and PC. So you can start to see that these are different customer bases, but it goes actually a little bit further than that, right? Because what do we know about Tencent games and a lot of mobile games? The entire monetary, or how you monetize that, is through a free-to-play model. How many free-to-play games are on Sony? Not that much. So now you're starting to look at this from a side of like, well, they're on different platforms and they have like different like monetization models. And so now here's like the big dagger. All right. And this one, I'm going to bring up another thing and why China has a lot more. And I gave you a big hint there. Why Tencent has a huge leverage in this argument. And if you did not know, and to bring this up, we're going to jump to our cousin entertainment industry and talk about the big silver screen. So if you did not know, one of the biggest animated films, one of the biggest films of all time, and the biggest animated film of all time launched earlier this year. I don't think I've heard one gaming podcast or one news channel talk about this at all. You want to know why you haven't heard it? Because it's a game from China. So Ninja 2 has broken like almost every movie record there is. This game flopped tremendously in the United States, which it launched just a few weeks ago. But in China, this movie had over $2.2 million in sales. No one in the US is even talking about this. And so, Zalek, I hear you. But it's not about where it is. And we're going to talk about that. It's where is the majority of that game sold? I told you, over 90% of that game is sold on PlayStation. It doesn't necessarily need to have overlap. It's where is the majority of that game sold. So when we talk about this, Tencent has a ton of leverage in China. Where does Tencent mostly sell its games? In China. Honor of Kings, the game I showed you up here. Honor of Kings dwarfs League of Legends. Not even close. They own both of them, but League of Legends is in the United States and is only a fraction of the player base that Honor of Kings is. So now when we think about the player base, and I think Zalek mentioned a great point, they're both on Steam, but the question isn't that they're both on Steam. We've talked about their monetary, how they're different monetizations. But now we're talking about where the actual player base is. And similar to the case that I showed you before, where we had Mobile Legends actually beat League of Legends in court cases, one of the main reasons is because Mobile Legends is super popular in China, even though it is still available on the App Store here in the United States. And League of Legends is mostly popular in the Western world. If we fast forward and go to this situation where you have a movie like this that is just tremendously big somewhere else and we haven't even heard it in the Western world, it also goes to reason that most likely Chinese consumers most likely have not even heard of Horizon. As well, where they most likely might be playing a game like Light of Mortrium. So you now can see where the water is really muddy and where Tencent potentially has a defense. Not only will they have a defense on, hey, what exactly do we need to change? Thinking about Tunic, thinking about Genshin. What is it that they need? Where is that line that they need to change? Is it changing the protagonist? Is it changing a boss? Is it changing a melody in the song? Is it changing a level? Where is the line between that is an imitation and where is the line between that is a flagrant copycat? This is what technically, thank you, Ambi, for that. This is technically what Sony is risking. Hey, Audi. This is technically what Sony is risking when they go to court, because there's nothing to say, just like when Tencent went to court. There's nothing to say that the court won't side with Sony. As I told you, every single element that I just mentioned, the character, the music, the art style, the story, the maps, the weapons, the bosses, the enemies. At what point are those just ideas within a genre versus the expression of an idea within a genre? This is similar to the game like Dead Space versus, oh my goodness, I can never think of the game that just came out with Dead Space. But they're very similar games. This is imitation is part of video games. Imitation is part of entertainment. And so if Sony is looking for an entire injunction into preventing this game from releasing, I think you can now see, based upon, well, what elements make it the exact imitation? Like, where is that line? Also, by the way, that these are most likely going to be monetized very differently. Also, by the way, the customer bases on these are going to be on different platforms. Also, the customer bases are going to be in different continents. So you're now asking the courts to put a worldwide injunction on a game, which, mind you, is probably something that has happened the least amount of times. Usually you put an injunction and it temporarily grants some form of relief until you can negotiate. And that is where Sony is finding itself. For Sony, they are trying to kill this as fast as possible, because the longer a court battle goes on, the more hits they take to their personal brand. And this is why I said Tencent has a couple of aces up its sleeve. And you can be like, well, Purple. Tencent literally went to Sony to ask for the IP. I totally get you. But there's a term in law that's called latches. And what latches says is essentially, if you know there's some misdoing going on, you can't wait until the last minute to say, hey, we're suing. You have an obligation to sue when you first find out. So that idea that Tencent went to Sony is actually a strategic play for Tencent, because now Tencent can be like, well, why? If we did something wrong, why did Sony not stop us in the first place? And then Sony's going to say, hey, us telling you we're not going to mess with you is enough of an action. But again, a court of law has to agree with that. So when you go to the court, there is no guarantee they're going to take one side over the other. Similar to the situation, like I said, between League of Legends and Mobile Legends. Heck, the name Legends is even in the game. But here's the other trick Tencent has in this entire battle. Besides a lot of money, besides understanding that, hey, they did it with Zelda, they did it with Genshin and Zelda. They've obviously went toe to toe with Mobile Legends and League of Legends. The other quiver that they have is this. So you see, Tencent has already blinked. Tencent has already changed certain aspects of that game. We don't really know what aspects they've changed, but we know that they've already kind of admitted some fault. But the question again becomes, at what point is it still a copycat versus an inspiration or imitation of the actual copycat? Because you have to understand, what is Sony's actual end goal? Sony's actual end goal isn't so they could have some competitor that is 90% of the same game. Sony's actual goal is that they get an injunction and this game never sees the light of day. So if that is your actual thing, and you see that Tencent is already kind of saying, all right, we may have crossed the line, but where is this line? Where are we willing to fight for it? You now start to realize that Sony's actual victory for what they truly, truly want is less likely. And if Tencent's victory is actually launching a game, even if it's only 90 or 95% of what their original vision is, they're still going to most likely launch the game. And this is why I say, most likely, Tencent is still going to win on some accounts. What I totally expect us to see over the next year or so is some settlement come out of this. I totally expect there to be some type of agreement like, hey, you need to change this story beat. Hey, you need to change this. But make no doubt about it, it's going to be a very similar game that they're going to sell in China. Oh, by the way, Sony can't take too much of a beating in China. Like, think about it. Tencent's the hometown hero there. It's the biggest gaming company in the world. You can guarantee it's like one of the crown jewels of Chinese companies. So if Sony, who we know is trying to make inroads into China, starts to pick a fight with the hometown hero, guess what? That's really, really bad publicity on a company that's trying to make inroads to that gaming community. So again, Tencent has a couple of areas of leverage to bring Sony to the bargaining table. And again, Tencent was already ready for this. They initially went to Sony to negotiate this. This isn't like Tencent's like, oh, we didn't copy. Tencent knew exactly what they were doing. For Tencent, this is the cost of doing business. And that is where I'm going to leave you with the third layer. You now understand from the first layer what is the most visually optical thing. The second layer is kind of the legal frameworks that are in place for patent law and defense. The third layer is the pros and cons, the weaknesses and strengths of each of their arguments. As you can see, as you get further and further down, it gets more murkier and murkier and murkier. It's not as clear cut as that looks like our game. You need to stop making that game. What it starts to look at is like, at what point are you willing to say, hey, we need to try to control the risk that we can control versus trying to go to a court and potentially having a worse outcome. This is the calculus that Sony is faced right now. But there's actually a fourth layer that I'm going to get to. And just like most things when you get to an iceberg at this level, it is no longer really about what's at the very top. If you think that this whole situation is about Horizon and that IP, in light of Mortrium and that IP, you're missing the bigger picture. Right now, there is an incredibly reorganizing of the world economic order. For the longest time, Western markets, to include Japan, the United States, and its allies, has been the center of not only gaming and entertainment, but has been the center of basically the entire world economy. Other parts of the world have a different vision of the future. Enter China. You see, China, I said something I gave you a hint early. And that's China's population is so large that it can be insulated from foreign pressures to do anything because they have the internal capacity to basically outmatch the Western world and its allies. Not only that, but when you have the Western world and its allies split, somewhat like they are currently right now, it becomes much, much easier. China has been continually trying to increase its presence across all forms of daily life, whether that's government, whether that's entertainment, whether that's public discourse, they have always been trying to gain this soft power. Tencent is just an arm of this. Tencent knew exactly what they were doing when they copied the game. Again, this is the power that they have because they have the economy and the player base in China. They can do that. They don't care about pissing off Americans. They don't care about pissing off Chinese people or Japanese companies. This is a company that understands, like, this is the price, again, of doing business. If they learned anything from this battle here where they lost, they realized that, hey, we might as well cross the line and you tell us if we went too far. In this case, Moonsoon crossed the line and the US actually agreed with them and said, hey, no, Tencent, you don't have an argument here. So what's Tencent doing now? You see, that's why Tencent is going to continue to push forward. Japan, on the other hand, namely Sony in this situation, what is Sony actually fighting? Sony is fighting and understanding what the scene on the wall is. Sony realizes that what they do here is going to set precedent tomorrow. And we already know tomorrow there are going to probably be more gamers percentage-wise and ratio-wise that are Chinese and Chinese aligned than Western aligned. And whatever happens right now is going to dictate those relationships. If Sony doesn't draw a line now, what's to say next time that they don't take Last of Us? What's to say next time they don't take Ratchet and Clank? What's to say next time they don't take Mario? What's to say next time that they don't take another IP? Again, when you have a large population and a population that's maybe not as familiar with your IP, we asked this question last time. How valuable is your IP? And so when you have situations currently where you have like the Chinese market, which is like 2 billion people. And oh, by the way, what other country did we talk about last week that has like 1.6 billion as well? India. When you have these emerging markets that are just now coming onto the gaming scene, whatever Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, you name Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, you name your Western studio. I don't care, your publisher. You can throw that out the window. These new players don't know anything about it. This is the game that Tencent is playing. This is the prize. Sony can say all they want, like we have a TV show in the works, we have a new game in the works. You think Tencent cares? This is about capturing market share. And Tencent is going to continue to push with what they can get away with. Now, don't make no mistake about it. Tencent still has to play nice with Western markets because a significant number of their player base is outside of China. You're not going to argue. You're not going to get me to disagree with that. But this is truly a battle for that new gamer, that new generation of gamer who may not be familiar with the Sony IP. And Sony's, what is a game if it's not the IP? I told you all this when I was going to buy the game company. A game is just IP. We talked about this last week, like where we were like, why would Atari buy some IP if they can just go recreate some other IP? IP is super important, but it's not nearly as sacrosanct as some people make it seem. So I totally see Sony and Tencent coming to some type of agreement to change some elements of this game. And then going forward, Sony is going to have to compete with this game. Do I think that's a win-win? Not really, right? Like Sony is going to win theoretically. They're going to get some things changed in the game. But again, I think the fact that this is even happening makes Sony a little uncomfortable. Because if it can happen here, again, what's to say next time it's not going to happen with another company and somewhere else? So depending on how you see that battle, you're either going to see it like Sony needs to hold the line, or you're going to say like, yo, Sony, buckle up because you're in for some competition. That's the future. All right, let me see what y'all got to say. If Sony are trying to get into China, they wouldn't want their best originals to be already experienced by the market in copy form. Then Sony will never gain headway in this the way it was seen as the copy. Exactly. This is exactly. This is the thing. You have to look at it from both sides. But if Tencent is already the big dog there, right? Why would Tencent not just take it? This is not about like, oh, we're going to help. This is about capturing market share. Again, you have to realize what I said earlier about China. The Japanese in the Western world and its allies have been the crown jewel, have been the center of commerce. Not everybody likes it that way. That is the battle. I say where's consumed second in China. Yep, there are so many Diablo-esque games, and I've played many of them. A lot of them copy from the original Diablo games, and I play both Diablo and clones. Roster makes a great point. There's a ton of clones. That's why I say, like, at what point is it a clone versus not a clone? This is why when people are like, oh, it's clearly the same game, it's like, when do you make that delineation? Go look at these two games. Go look at Mobile Legends and League of Legends. Those are very similar games. In the US court, in the United States, cited against Tencent in this lawsuit. Like I said, it's very hard to get a worldwide injunction on something. It takes a ton of coordination, right? And it's about video games. And so people are going to be like, okay, yeah, you don't own the formula of a female protagonist with red hair. Right? You don't own the formula of a female protagonist with red hair who uses a bow and arrow. You know what I mean? There's like several characters like that. Right? You don't own the formula on a sci-fi game with mechanical beasts. There's several games like that. Right? Now we can say like all these things combined is probably like Horizon Zero Dawn. I totally get that. But at what point do you change one or two of those things and it's now a different IP? That's what you don't really want a court to decide, because the court could literally decide like, no, Sony, suck it up. So eventually Sony's going to want to take the known thing that they can already accomplish versus the known thing that they may not be able to accomplish. Like once it goes to court, no, it's jump ball. No one knows what's going to happen there. Sony needs to just give up and stop making games. I don't know if they're going to do that. Right? It's just market share. Would it not be the first time that there's like two versions of a game? The thing that's in China versus the thing outside of China. You know what I mean? Wouldn't be the first time. And I think you're going to see something like that. I don't think they're going to get the Horizon name. They might. But I think you're going to have like, hey, this game can only be distributed within certain territories. In other territories, a Horizon gets distributed. It's going to be something like this. I don't know what exactly it's going to be, but I don't think Tencent's going to be like, yeah, you win, Sony. You got us that time. Nah, they're not going to. Tencent's huge. Tencent is huge. By the way, the company that beat Tencent here, Moonsoon, another company you may have heard of. Mobile Legends is actually owned by ByteDance. So yes, you're talking big players. Like ByteDance, yeah, that ByteDance, the one that owns TikTok. Yeah, these are big players. And they know what they're doing. Like again, this is just the cost of doing business. And I think that catches a lot of people off guard that like, why would a company be willing to copy blah, blah, blah? And I think Dash Monster mentioned something very, very big. Like, because when you're not number one, you don't care about the status quo. Like, I think like the people who are like, oh, Sony has this in the bag. Sony, like Tencent has no defense. You don't know. Like, go look up anything I just told you. Go look up any of the frameworks I just told y'all. Go look up any of like the precedent I just told y'all. Go look it up and you're going to see how fragile that actual rule of law is. Well, I guess Tencent is, is doing something right with getting player bases on board to fanboy on their games, just like other hardware and software. I like how you did that. Hair, art, mech, environment, plus how much is enough? Well, that's the question. How much isn't enough is the real thing. When do you take one of these away? Okay, you take away the hair. You take away the lighting. You take away the environment. Is that the same game? At what point is it that you're looking at it? Why is it similar? If I was to play a game and say, hey, show me all the similarities. There's a reason why we show kindergartners those types of fun games, right? Because those are really easy. But the law doesn't look at it that way. The law actually says, at what point is this different from this? At what point do you change do you make it a male character? Like I could have done this Tomb Raider versus Uncharted. At what point are those different? Is it literally Lara Croft versus whatever the dude's name is? How about Little Nightmares versus what's the game that's just coming out? Reanimal. At what point you're like, well, Purple, Reanimal's made by Little Nightmares. Yeah, but they don't own the IP. At what point is it different? At what point are fighting games different? At what point are shooting games different? At what point are the Diablo clones different? At what point are like the match 3 type of game where you have to connect 3 games together? How many games are like Candy Crush? That's what you have to look at. Is that you can get pretty close. You can basically copy the same thing. By going to court, Tencent's gonna figure that out. Tencent's banking that eventually I already told you. Right here. Tencent's already changed certain things. They've already blinked. Tencent said, okay, Sony, you're taking us to court. Let's change a few things to put to change the equation here. And that's what I mean. If you look at the hundreds and hundreds of things, or the 100 things that Sony's saying, do you change 20 of them? Is it the same game? You're going to be like, well, it depends on the 20. Okay. Tencent's willing to figure that out. It's the price of doing business. But again, no doubt about it, Sony doesn't want this game to exist whatsoever. The fact that you said something really interesting, Zalek. You said, in a way, I want to play Light of Mortrium as it looks maybe better than the actual Horizon. That's what you said, right? So if you're in China, right? And let's put again, China just had Black Myth Wukong last year that just blew up. 85% of the game sales were in China. If you're China, and Sony's saying like, no, y'all can't have it, they're not going to see it like that. That's the kind of relationships at play. That's like digging deeper. That's where you have to say, if you're Tencent, what would you do in this situation? If you're Sony, what would you do in this situation? If you're Sony, if you're me, if I'm Sony, I'm telling Sony, try to get the game is changes. You're not going to stop the game. You're just not. Eventually, they're going to change enough to where it's like, okay, they changed enough. Try to get enough in a negotiation as possible, whether that is a licensing deal, whether that is like, hey, you can't borrow the original IP, but you need to stop doing this. Try to get as much as you can, and then kiss the rest goodbye. If you're Tencent, you're going to say, okay, Sony, if you really think we're not willing to go to court, you're mistaken. We have more money than you. We have more players than you. And at the end of the day, we're going to keep changing just 1, 2, 3, or 4 things and keep weakening your argument. It's that line that you have to determine. Sony is also scared it will outperform its multiplayer on this way. Tencent used the original art style. Sony opted for a Fortnite art style with the same IP. If that's the case, then maybe. You know what I mean? Like Sony's it's Witt used the term a Pyrrhic victory. Sony's kind of in a situation where everything that they do is going to be less than optimal. If they continue to go through a court case, it's going to hurt them in the long run. If they cede and give Tencent the IP, they just now lost another original IP. If they allow and sign off and allow something else to happen, guess what? They now have a competitor on their hands. Like almost every single thing that they do, if they continue to fight and win, they just kind of ruin their reputation within China. Like almost every single thing that they can do, they can win. But it's not going to be the total vindication and victory that they are looking for. It's just the nature of business. Well, if it comes to music, I could name a lot of inspiration to the status quo. There's a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like, where does it go? Ask Marvin Gaye. Where does it end? Or Limbo versus Far. Ooh, I like Far. Then what's different about it in a 3-point system? I wouldn't want it exists based on creative direction. What do you mean, Dash Monster? Tell me more. For the multiplayer, not all the rising. Okay, I'm not a pony. Trust me, I'm not. Dash Monster isn't. Like when I was playing this game called Star Rapture. Ooh, it reminds me of the Submission with just a few very small differences, but yeah, it also felt different enough. And they're not getting sued. Again, where is the line? That is the question. It's not as like. That's why when I saw the video, I think most people, when they see this, see exactly what this one's the damning one. They see this. Of course. But if it was that easy, you would not have basically $1 trillion company called Tencent saying like, yeah, we'll take that bet. You know what I mean? Like that's, if you take anything away from this segment, dig deeper. Understand why are multi-$100 billion companies fighting with $1 trillion companies. Understand it's not about today. It's not about yesterday. It's about the future. And when you understand it's about the future, you then have to start to understand, what does the future look like? Why does Tencent think they have leverage? Why does Sony think it has leverage? Why did Sony come out so aggressive in the beginning? And why is Tencent kind of playing a long game? Understand that dynamic, and you will understand how this court case is going to play out. Or how, I don't even think it goes to court. You're going to understand the events that are going to dictate this. All right. And then that's all I ask. Like, just take, you could disagree with me all you want. Doesn't matter. I gave you my take. That's whoever. I'm not saying this. Say it looks like a purple. Don't get mad. No, I'm saying like, all I ask is for people to critically think and to really pull the different things. So that's what I have. I thought Black Myth was similar to Enslaved Journey to the West, though. Guess I couldn't make an argument for a full-blown lawsuit. Yeah, you maybe you could. Well, people who played this game won't want another clone. And I'm all creative extras, but I don't want to play over Dead by Day. You do love Dead by Daylight. Do you think this is a win for consumers, Purple? It's the Motrin trailer still available. They changed it. So just so you'll know, like I said, I think Tencent has blinked first. They've changed some different things to it. And they've delayed the game by 2 years. So again, we are going to see over 2026 what happens here. How much are they changing? How much are they keeping it the same? I totally think that this is just the cost of doing business for Tencent. I think Sony has made a pretty solid case. Trust me. I think Sony's made a pretty big enough stink about it to say, Tencent, you may eventually get part of what you want, but we're going to make it painful. And I think at the moment, Tencent's not ready to like fully go to the mat on this. Like, I think Tencent has, think of it as a longer conversation, and Tencent is definitely going to try this again. If not Tencent, ByteDance. If not ByteDance, NetEase. If not NetEase. Like, you're going to see many, many more of these to come. Many more of these to come. And it's not just gaming. Please take, even though if I talk about gaming, realize this applies to, if you think I'm talking about gaming, you're right. If you think I'm talking about something else, you're also right. Realize that is truly what I hope you take away from this. Also, did you see the link I sent on Discord chat yesterday? It was about Horizon AI versions and the voice actor. I did not. I go on Discord on Mondays. And yesterday I was so busy. I've not been on Discord. So I gotta go watch Squid stuff. I gotta watch your stuff. Probably after the stream. Or I definitely know when you can't cross the line, especially when it comes to Horizon. It's called a event. Event Horizon is so interesting. That movie kind of freaked me out. That was one of the first movies that really freaked me out. Just the fact that this spaceship basically has pure evil on it, and I don't know, it just freaked me out. I need to watch it again. If you could use a word, at least do more. Probably not, honestly. Or even maybe Nexon might try something. Yeah, Nexon's another one. I think this is the thing. When you have, as you're seeing traditionally at least in the 20th century, as you're starting to see these incumbents coming under threat by these other players in the world. And like I said, doesn't have to be game. It's across a lot of different things. They're really testing their might. And that's why, I don't like to get political on things, but that's why attacking your allies at this moment is I hope you know what you're doing. That's all I got to say. Sony had a leak for a Horizon Aloy AI test version. Her voice actors was reacting to it. Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. I know you're into Horizon. So I told you I had a couple of different things. We talked about a little bit of Tomb Raider. I do want to get this out there. So they have picked the actress for Tomb Raider. We talked about Amazon not too long ago. So Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones is going to play Lara Croft of Tomb Raider. I don't know. I guess I can see it, I think she came into her own as Sansa towards the end of the series. But yeah, I don't really know how well she acts outside of Game of Thrones. I'm also not sure how much you can do with Tomb Raider IP. I don't know. We know that Amazon didn't really do a lot with the Lord of the Rings IP. So we'll see. I feel like they should have probably cast her for Zelda, though. But that's just me. I was just talking about a black hole. Oh, really, Holtz? No, there's a really one called Event Horizon. There's really a movie called Event Horizon. They don't know what they're doing. It's pretty clear to me. I don't think it's a good casting. Wow, y'all are not Sophie Turner fans. Okay. She's, oh my good. Wow. Guy, hold on. It's not, is she really that bad? She's really that, am I missing something? What, is she that bad? I didn't think that was that, y'all are pitchforks right now. I wouldn't expect the actress they would hope she does well in the role as an X-Men in Game of Thrones. Maybe she does well, I don't know. Initially I was like, how can they cast her? She's British. And then I had to realize Lara Croft is British. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess it makes sense. So does Lara speak much, or is it mainly action scenes? I would imagine she's going to talk. Wow, Roster, you're you don't even want her to talk. She doesn't have a personality. How do you know that? She was acting as Sansa. How do you separate Sansa from the actress? You don't think, maybe Sansa just doesn't have a personality. Better put. Bella Ramsey. or whatever that chick's name, the one who's in Last of Us. Everybody loved her in Game of Thrones. Everybody can't stand her in Last of Us. So couldn't this be like a role reversal where everybody loves Sophie Turner in Lara Croft? And I think I misgendered Bella. They, them. So everybody loves them in Game of Thrones, but they don't love them in Last of Us. Take it back to Tomb Raider Underworld Underground. That was a good game. Which one is that? I only played the one I did on stream. Yeah, I can see her as a Zelda over a Lara Croft. I thought so. She's British. How is she not a great choice? Simple, that's what I wanted. They're saying no. She was in X-Men. It bombed, right? Zaylik, you're not going to blame X-Man on this. That doesn't mean you can't put the entire movie on her. She's the Queen of the North. She is, right? No, she's the Queen of Winterfell. Is the king of the is the ruler of Winterfell the ruler of the North? I thought the ruler of the North was who owns the big gate. Maybe I'm missing things. I don't want to watch the series again to figure this out. I trust you. I just thought, oh no, you're right. You're right, because the North, Winterfell, if who owns the Winterfell is the ruler of the North. Okay, I remember. Okay, I kind of remember this. Hey, Cherry Man, I'm not saying that, but it's more action than seeing it will be easier to play. I don't know how her acting is. I don't know. But yeah, Zaylik and Ambi have opinions on this one. I don't know. Hey, Cherry Man, what's going on? So that was that, and I had some more news. Y'all know I couldn't go without talking about a little bit of Nintendo. But yeah. So there is something else that, let me see if I have this in here. So there was a little bit, I don't know if y'all are tracking it, but there's been a little bit of controversy with the Switch 2 and developer kits. This has actually been kind of an ongoing theme with Nintendo Switch 2. And the thing is that a lot of developers have not received developer kits. And the narrative goes something like this. And it goes like there's these developers that want to support the Switch 2, but Nintendo has not given them developer kits. It's puzzling. And I get it, but I also feel like there's a lot of developers that don't understand business and working with Nintendo. And so what I do want to talk about is there's a really cool article that came out in Bloomberg called Switch 2 Shows Nintendo is Still the Weird Genius of Gaming. I thought it was a really cool article. It's not too long. It's kind of a quick read, maybe 5 minutes or so. It came out a few days ago, and they talk a lot about Nintendo, the history and who Nintendo is. And they talk about how Nintendo, like what everybody always says this. Nintendo can do what Nintendo wants to do and they can get away with it. Like if it was Microsoft or it was Sony or if it was another gaming company, they couldn't get away with it, but Nintendo can. Why can they get away with it? And I thought that there was like this really, like this article kind of breaks down why Nintendo can get away with what Nintendo does. And it's like a fascinating read. And kind of some of the highlights are that Nintendo, and it kind of is encapsulated by this quote. And that's because Nintendo focuses on the game and focuses on the fun. And this kind of mantra right here is essential to Nintendo is. And it says that because they're not essential to life, games need to deliver a surprise. And surprise at its core means originality. And I think that's the one thing you can say about Nintendo versus what we've been talking about with Tencent, what we've been talking about with Sony, what we've been talking about with Microsoft when we bring them up, is that originality has really been lacking. Even Zaylik, who brought this topic up, what did she say earlier about the New Horizon game? They're trying to copy Fortnite. What have we seen talked about with Call of Duty? They're trying to copy the art style of Fortnite. what have we said about Tencent? They're literally copying a game. Like there is a lack of originality, and I don't think anybody could say that Nintendo is an original. Like they may not be the most fancy like type of hardware. They may have high prices where Ron Slusher would raise the price. But one thing people cannot say is that they don't try to focus on the fun. And to me, that's commendable. You know, I think too many people today are not really focused on that. They don't know what original ideas are. They try to be like, oh, you had a Souls game. We're going to make a Souls game. Oh, you have Diablo. We're going to do Diablo. Oh, we're going to do that. And I think that's cool. Sometimes you can improve the genre and stuff and create competition. And through that competition comes innovation. But I also think there's something to be said about those companies that just go off and do something different. So shout out to Blueprints. I thought Blueprints was a super cool thing. Shout out to Team Cherry with Hollow Knight. When it first came out, obviously that was a little bit different. Like, I think if you do things differently and you have a polished game and it's meant to be fun and you focus on, will this be fun for people to play? Even if your game's not a success, I still think it's a blueprint for what gaming should be. And so if you get a chance, definitely go check that article out. It's on Bloomberg. It's about Nintendo and their stuff. And I thought it was really interesting in what they said about it. And getting back to the game dev situation, for the developers who are not getting game development kits from Nintendo, I think they either overestimate their value to Nintendo and or they're just clueless. And what I mean by that is Nintendo is a Japanese company. Japanese companies are very traditional. Honor is a very big thing and trust is a big thing. And what you see with the games that are coming out, Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red, you had the 2K's coming out with a game. We saw that they were supporting the launch. Capcom's supporting the launch. Bandai Namco is being supported by the launch. IO Interactive. All these large studios have something in common. And that is that they supported Nintendo when Nintendo's probably at its weakest in the last decade, and that was with the Switch 1 launch. And so it's no coincidence to me that if you didn't support the Switch 1, that Nintendo's not necessarily going to want you to be on their platform today. Like they're going to prioritize those partners that were there for them then. And that's why you're hearing people say, hey, build the game for Switch 1. If you can do it for Switch 1, we'll allow you to Switch 2. Because despite developers saying we want to support Nintendo, no. What they want to do is tap into the Nintendo player base and hopefully sell their game to Nintendo players. Nintendo's well aware of this. You know what I mean? Nintendo's the one with the player base, and the player base are the ones who want to play Nintendo first-party games. So it's going to be interesting to see how this evolves and to see what developers have been shunned. And I guarantee the ones that have been shunned are going to be the same ones that didn't support them in the first place. Yeah, I agree. Because I think many developers focus on quality over quantity and making something truly unique. I totally we're there. Sony is using Fortnite graphics so it can run faster as a multi. The original Horizon art style is graphically processing heavy. The Tencent managed to do it is interesting. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, I think why people say certain things and what can actually be possible are two different things. You know what I mean? How is Cyberpunk running on Switch 2? You know what I mean? Like, I think, or what's the one that just came out? Switch 2 just had a launch and everybody's super impressed with that. Paul, Mr. Byron Plays did a playthrough. Oh, what am I thinking? Star Wars Outlaws. They say that's a phenomenal port of that game. To say like, for them to say, oh, it can run better because of this or that. I don't know. I think especially with the way chips are today, and Sony definitely has their DLSS So shout out to Audi, bringing up the AI stuff. You're telling me you can't run it on the Pro? You're telling me you can't run that game? That it would struggle? I don't know. That there's a lot of horsepower on the Pro, and I don't think people have even fully. I don't know. Maybe that's true. Maybe, but again, the fact that Tencent's willing to do it, competition breeds innovation, right? One of the things. Passion does too, right? And I think you're seeing two different approaches. Cowboy, for all he talks about, he always says like Nintendo's for kids. But I think Nintendo, obviously they're a business. I'm not going to try to say they're not greedy or they don't have that. But what I will say, and if you read that article, it speaks a lot about their corporate culture. They have a turnover rate of roughly 1% every year. So that means for every 100 employees, only one employee actually leaves the company every year. For every 100 employees. They don't have a lot of flashy stuff at their headquarters. The way they look at game development, which I thought was really interesting, is Nintendo looks at game development a similar way to how people look at apprenticeships. Nintendo looks at game development like you are on a apprenticeship journeyman type of situation. It's not just a profession. It's like an art, right? I thought that was really unique. How does other companies look at it? You know what I mean? Is it a passion or is it purely financial? Are they willing to take the risk? Like obviously Nintendo's struck out. No doubt about it. I don't know. I don't know. It's a fascinating thing. It's a fascinating thing. Do I think it's better for consumers? What's the Sony Tencent one? Depends on the consumer. I always think that. I think it really depends on the consumer. If you're a consumer that wanted more out of Horizon, you're a consumer who likes that type of game, it's a win. If you look at the long-term implications and you now have a market that is flooded with a lot of copycats and you can't truly, and it becomes harder and harder to tell where the quality versus the not quality is, it's not, right? There's a reason why we don't allow, why it's against the law technically to sell knockoff bags, right? Or why is it, even though hey, this bag, it's just a bag, it's cheaper, right? But why is that a win for consumers that we don't allow knockoffs to happen? Some people would say, no, I want the knockoff. You know what I mean? I think it really depends on the consumer. And I think if you can answer that question, wherever you land, I don't think it's a right or wrong answer. I ultimately think that I think it is, because I think Sony will have, people kept saying oh, the Call of Duty is going to make Sony compete. I don't think it did at all, right? But I think these types of threats do, because now Sony has to really rethink how do we make our things stand out. And I showed y'all right? Nintendo's not threatened by this. Nintendo wasn't threatened by this. Genshin Impact grossly outsells Zelda Breath of the Wild. But guess what Nintendo understands? Nintendo understands at the end of the day, there are things about originality. And they talk about it in that article. That's why I thought it was a fascinating article, in which someone there's this mantra where it's the people outside of Nintendo, they're going to chase trends. At Nintendo, they're going to try to do what's fun. So if that's your stance, okay, it doesn't matter really, right? But if your stance is like, yo, we want to create the same thing over and over and give you a similar experience, looking at you, Square Enix. Yeah. I don't know. Why shouldn't you be disrupted? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Is he still mini? He is, Simpleton. Most OG Horizon fans react poorly to the art change for the multi. Interesting. The only thing I don't like about Sony, it seems like they have no freedom to expression. You have to fit into like this certain criteria, which goes into the mods. Just playing like Skyrim, you can't. Potentially. So the modding community, that's an interesting one. I don't know. When it comes to mods, I'm less... I generally, like, I can understand it, but I also understand the original intent. So yeah, like I think that one goes back. I go back and forth on that, but that's also because I don't mod. I just don't like. I don't find the need to. I always enjoyed the Diablo clones, even if they weren't quite as good. I could push Sony to work harder. I could put, yeah. Is it bad for a world gaming economy if China and India can do high fidelity games with great stories in a fraction of the price? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. We're going to find out soon enough. But is it the slow death of innovation? Copies of copies of copies, diluted ideas? Is it? My question would be, when was... This is where I get in trouble with the Xbox community. When was the last time that Xbox was innovative? I'll wait. Xbox bought companies. Like they spent billions of dollars to buy IP. Was that innovative? What's better? You want copies of copies of copies, or do you want to get things bought and then they don't get made? There was another article that came out about Perfect Dark, right? And what they were trying to do to salvage that. Like, is it a slow death of innovation? Or is it just another threat of innovation? Like, even if Tencent copies, what's to stop Sony from innovating? You know what I mean? Especially like I said, games, you have to kind of put the same thing with games as you do with music. Like, how many times do we hear songs that are very similar? They take a similar like beat, or they take like a similar lyric, and there's no lawsuits. This is why the Marvin Gaye estate situation that happened a few years ago was such it's like, why are you suing them? Why are you suing Pharrell? Right? Pharrell. Like, why are you suing him? Like, art is all about imitation and inspiration. A direct copy, you're exactly right. You shouldn't do that. But but at the same time, are you just gonna pull a Rihanna, not make a hit? Looking at you, whips and chains and whatnot. Looking at you, Rihanna. I don't know. Like, I think that's why this is an interesting topic. I think there's so many things you can do with this topic. Some other companies treat game developers like they are expendable. Use them up and then fire them with the project is done. Rebecca, you're not wrong. She knows EA, y'all. This is a woman that knows EA. It's something that is allowing Genshin Impact to stay on the market, benefit into because people who wouldn't have played Breath of the Wild actually got the game to see what it was like. Audi's right. I think real innovation is far and few in between. I believe you're correct. Isn't Genshin free? It is. It depends on what you mean by free. I wanted a functional pretty bag. I don't care about name brands. There you go. The problem I have with Sony is that IPs make better cinematic than games, which now we're seeing in TV shows from Sony. Different parts. Like I said, like where is the... I think you'll see like the water is muddied, right? It's not as easy as saying this. Y'all are now asking the questions. Is this good? Is Sony Does this help Sony? Does this hurt Sony? Is this good for the consumer? Is it not good for the consumer? Would I want this in something else? How does this parlay in long term? Learning. I guess I'm not all that into Zelda because I never connected Zelda and Genshin. Oh, it's a pretty big one. It's a go look up. If you look up Zelda and Genshin, you'll see like what happened. It's a pretty big one. Just writes K-pop. All original thought were inspired by someone else's idea, at least in some way. Yep, I believe that too. I believe that too. I don't know. I thought my segment would excite Zalik, but she seems to be like, no, they can't release the game, even though I want to play it. I don't know. What? Mind blown? There's even Microsoft's original. It's from Nintendo, right? Perfect Dark is rare. Right? I don't know. You're right. I think it was originally licensed by Nintendo. I think Nintendo originally published it. I don't know. It gets all in that weird times. That weird, like, who owns what? There is a limitation in everything. Maybe it's truly identical. Maybe we should just leave it alone and just focus pushing the idea of creativity. Yeah. I think that's ultimately what I would get at. I think when something is really murky, this is what I always say. Like, I'm about to give you my go-to, like my professional, like purple real world answer when things are murky. I always say, too much of anything is never good, but moderation is key. And then you can just play off of that however you want. So too much copying is not good. Moderation is key. Understanding what that is, intolerant, and what you're tolerating, that is truly when innovation happens. See how I did that? See how I did it? Y'all can take that. You can take that. You can use that anytime. Use it for your kids, use it for your work, use it for your friends and colleagues. Like if they give you some type of like murky answer, just say like moderation is key. You know what I mean? And you'll never go wrong. Like people will be like, oh yeah, you're right. She wants both. Thinks she can use some moderation. I think she can. Did he makes hits apparently? Oh my goodness. Are we talking about Puff Daddy now? Perfect Dark was developed by 4J Studios. Ooh. 4J. I wonder what that stands for. I'm sure I can look it up. But yeah. So those are the things I was going to talk about. I hope you leave with a little bit more information. Raleigh says the proof is in the kind of girl, kind of. But yeah, that's what I say. If they're like, "Hey, what do you think we should do on this one?" Like, oh, I think it's all about moderation. Blah 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 blah. So I do some spin off of that. I say something without saying something. And so in this case, yeah, I think but you're like, try it. Like, you'll be like, next time you have it, just try it. Like you have like something, just be like, purple. Let me see if she's right. You'll be surprised at how many times that will get you out of a jam. I was a huge Diablo 1 and 2 player, but I never upset by the clones. There were just a few, and it was fun to have a slight variation from a different developer. Otherwise, we have to wait years. I think it depends. You're right. Like I said, I think it totally depends on the consumer. And understanding what your toleration is, right? Like we've heard, like Rabolica says she doesn't care about name brands. She just wants a functional bag that looks pretty. That could be a knockoff, right? Rouster's like, hey, I think it's good because it gets me like a flavor of that game. Zay looks like I want to keep the original, right? I think I don't think there's a right answer. And that at the end of the day is what Sony has to. If you're Sony, you're gonna have to figure out where you have to cut your losses. I don't know. Like, you're gonna have to figure out where it is. If I was Sony, I would have been like, yeah, but I'm not, right? I don't think like that. I would have been like, okay, give us 10% of your sales on this game. Give us the source code. Allow you distribute that into China, and we'll use your game and distribute it other places. You don't spend anything on it. You get to still control the IP. You still get to control some version of what's in China. You can market the heck out of it, and you can control it. But like I said, at what point in the future does that become the standard now? That's what they're fighting. Obviously, they had that on the table, but it's not about this game. It's about the future. And in a world where Sony is struggling to maintain its IP, you got to kind of like, it's an interesting problem. I'll say that much. How many hours is moderation? I'm asking for a friend. I think you just got to understand your tolerance. Too much is too much. Too little, it's not enough. You know, it's but once you get that balance, you know, I think that's the sweet spot. I just want the Nogami forces to make it part of the Horizon universe. Zalik, the truth comes out. The truth finally comes out. Let's go. Put the AIs on it. It's time for the Clone Wars. Simpleton's all about it. Simpletons, let's get this on. The Clone Wars are all fine and dandy until your clone loses. I think that's the thing. War is all fine and good until your side takes some losses. Have you ever read that about the beginning of the Civil War? Like during the beginning of the Civil War, right? This is a Civil War, North versus South in the United States. And when it first started off, people like lined up like it was like a football match. They were lined up on the side watching, like, oh, we're gonna go to war with the North, and then war broke out, and people were like, oh wait, I feel like that's kind of how the world politics are right now. Like people are like, they don't realize how much like what's actually happening. But I digress. It's too much. Oh, nice. Nice one. Crow's played this game before. Wonder why Sony wouldn't license the name Horizon, just insane Eastern adventure. I don't know. Like I said, it's about the future. Like it was a picnic. Like it was a Robolica, you've read this story. It was a picnic. They literally came with their Sunday best. And yeah. And they left with their Sunday worst. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness, I couldn't. But yeah. I don't know. But thank you for the topic, Zalik. Metrovania I enjoyed a lot was Bloodstain, which was a you know they have the second one of those, right? Oh my goodness, we got a first time. Howdy, you're on.
Hey, Purple.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much.
Howdy. Where are you calling from?
Japan.
My goodness. Howdy, you work at Nintendo, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's crazy. My goodness. So was my characterization of Nintendo similar or not so much?
It was similar.
Oh, that's cool. So Audi, so like as someone who's there, like what are you playing right now?
Okay. What am I playing? Currently I've been playing Hell is Us.
How do you like that one?
So far I like it. It's really good.
And that's like the
Um,
third person. It's like third person, right? And you're going through and it has like a
yeah.
decent story.
Yeah.
Hell is Us. No, I heard about that one. I heard that one. And if you all did not know, Audi, you're on Twitch, right? And you're
Yes.
almost at the partner level on Twitch.
Affiliate, yeah.
Affiliate. So you're almost at affiliate. And what do you need to get affiliate? You only need to have the concurrent viewer, right?
3 concurrent viewers for 4 separate days that I stream.
Okay. So how many more days do you need? And when are you streaming next?
Well, I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow. Let me see. I need 3 more days.
3 more days. So you're streaming tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And what time are you streaming tomorrow?
Let me see. Let me look at my schedule. Calendar. Around 2 p.m. ET.
2 p.m. Eastern. What was that, like 3 a.m. your time?
Yeah, around there.
My goodness. All right, 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll definitely have to be. Thank you, Rouser, for putting it out there. We'll definitely have to try to be there. Let's try to get. And do we have to? How long? What game are you streaming? Hell is Us.
Well, I was thinking about playing Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh wow. I'm down. I should be around. I may not be immediately there. Two's hard. I'm still trying to get Robolica's streams down, but Fridays are a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But okay. Super awesome, Howdy. I wish I was chilling in Japan. Holds, well, you can. You can, Holds. You definitely can. So what else is going on, Audi?
Well, I recently got Silk Song. I was
Oh
thinking
my goodness. Okay.
about playing that on Monday.
Okay. So Silk Song. So you're a Metroidvania player. I didn't know you played Metroidvanias.
Yeah, I don't play them a lot, but I did enjoy Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight seems to be splitting our community. Some people love it. Simpleton's a Hollow Knight fan. I like Metroidvanias, but I couldn't get into Hollow Knight. But they say this one, she has a voice. Like she has she talks. So that might be able to get me into it, but I don't know. We'll see. Zalek's doing more Cyberpunk. Zalek, when are you streaming? Just so we have it. It's gonna be a Twitch-a-thon. Wait, Zalek's gonna be streaming tomorrow later. I thought Zalek streams after this. And Audi, are you going to join us on our Mario Kart stream?
Yeah, I will.
Woot. We're always trying to get more people into Mario Kart, more people into Orcs Must Die. Anybody who wants to, Audi's joined us before in that one. And we might be doing a little bit of Granted, I think Granite was sending me uh telekinetic messages about, or I don't think I used that word right, but was sending me like mental things about potentially doing Mario Party. So let me know. If you're a Mario Party fan, let me know. Because it seems like it's a party game. Maybe.
I've played Mario Party a few times.
What did you think?
I mean, I like it to play on occasion, but not very often.
Oh wow. No, I think I've never played it. They say there's over 100 games of it. Um, so well, I don't know. I may give it a shot. Um, I like Mario Kart though, but I see people seem to be interested into Sonic Racing, Garfield Racing, Disney Racing. So it seems like we may be doing other racing here soon. Ooh, Holtz, that's what I said. That's what I said. I just feel like I think it's a good game. I think Hollow Knight's a good game. I just feel like there's other games that I like better in the genre. That's all.
Have you seen the patent that Valve filed today about the Steam frame?
The Steam console?
Yeah.
I have not, but I knew that they were looking forward to it. So all right. What do you think?
I haven't looked too much into it, but the patent that they filed, it was for a console controller and multimedia device.
I'll look into it. I mean, obviously they had the Steam machine not too like about a decade ago. Um, we'll see. I will see. Valve does Valve things. I think Valve is another one of those companies that, we've talked about it. We've talked about it here. Monopoly, not Monopoly. Oh, really? Oh, that was cool, Roster. It missed its moment. For some, for sure. I love Jackbox game as a party game. I'll have to look at that one. I know you were looking at playing that one on Jackbox. Has a pretty. Wait, is Jackbox like the Pictionary one? Am I thinking the right one? PC Box, Steam OS. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some research on it. Audi's giving me second week in a row. Audi's giving me homework, y'all. Oh my goodness, I appreciate it, Audi.
Absolutely.
They should make CMOS for desktops, but they're very slow at bringing it out. That would be cool. What's Dash Monster? I would love a game with y'all, but I have to buy some systems. I'm getting a PS5 and a couple. Oh, and a Nintendo. But what Nintendo you all play? Oh, what Dash Monster? We play. We have PS5. But Nintendo we play Switch 2. But we also play Switch 1. Like we play Mario Kart Deluxes on Switch 1. That's why we do that one. And we're looking for more games that are cross. Ideally, we find more games that are cross-platform. So it's ideally what we try to do. Jackbox has a lot of different games. Yeah, I think is Jackbox the one where it's like Jackbox 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like if it's that one, I know about it. We'll have to see. So, Audi, what else is new?
Let's see. Well, I was just reading the patent that they filed with the U.S. Patent Office, I believe it was called. It says trademark registration for computer hardware.
It'll be interesting. Steam. Hey, Neos, what's going on? I saw you earlier. And I saw, Neos, what were you playing? You were playing Marvel Rivals. Caught some of your recording of that. It's on PS5 and X. I love the idea of Steam machines back in the day, which failed. Though I can see Valve doing well now with a higher approach. Gamers' mentality has changed who are playing. A Steam machine, could it do well? So here's my thing. Go ahead, Ali. Go ahead.
One of the things that they mentioned, it could actually be a VR headset because it does mention sporting as well.
Okay, so wait. So it's mentioning porting, huh?
Yeah. So VR would also make a lot of sense for that.
Huh. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think. So I always look at who is this for? Right? And obviously a Steam machine, if you're on Steam, you're a super big fan of Steam, you're gonna get this, right? But I always hear when Severin, he comes in and he'll be like, well, I can connect my PC to the computer super easily. That's like his argument against a console. So like if you have that type of person who's already like, I can connect my PC to the TV anyway, or like I can do whatever. Like, who with this? I don't know. That's my thing. When Xbox is leaving the console market, they're running to it. I think that's pretty interesting. Xbox is like trying to take on like the PC market more, and Steam is trying to take on the console market more. That's interesting. That's interesting. I was trying hard. Also, I was going to stream tonight, but I'm kind of sick. Get some rest. Do a hot toddy. Oh my goodness, I don't like being sick, which reminds me, I need to take my allergy medicine.
When do you think the next Metroid game will come out this year?
December.
Okay.
December. They said it was coming out in 2025, right?
Yes, 2025.
Yeah, I would think. I mean, they could delay it. Like that. So that article I was showing y'all earlier, again, if y'all want to catch the title of the article, it's this one. If you wanted to check that one out, super great article on Bloomberg. They talk about Nintendo and delaying things. They're not afraid to delay. Like, I think some people are like, oh, they're not going to try to like Nintendo has no problem delaying something. So they could delay it, but I think if they were to launch in December, they would. I mean, there's a lot of people who are looking forward to Metroid. You know what I mean? Are you excited about Metroid?
Yeah, I am.
Really? Interesting. I think it'll be interesting because like that's going to be a game that fully showcases the mouse capability. So that was an update last week as well for the Switch 2. Is they made it to, or maybe it was a few weeks ago, you can use like a USB mouse for the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I think that happened last week. Everything's blending. People talk about Google Graveyard. Let's talk about the Steam hardware graveyard. Ooh. I mean, I don't know. The dude's building super yachts around the world, so he does whatever he wants.
Yeah. I mean, the same could be said about the Minecraft version graveyard because they make so many ports for the Minecraft that then just discontinue them.
We're airing out dirty laundry, y'all. No, I think everybody. I mean, but to be in tech, you have to have. You have to be willing to make a gamble, and then if you do something and it's not what you thought it would be, like you're just gonna you're gonna stop. Like I know that's what I do. Like if I'm like, oh, I think I want to cook this dish, and it's like, ah, it doesn't taste that good. Well, guess what? Like I'm not gonna force it. So, but I think tech companies in general, where I mean, it's like pharmaceutical companies. You know what I mean? They're gonna take gambles, and sometimes they're gonna hit it out the park, and sometimes they're not. I keep it real. Once you go to PC, you should let go of talking about console because at this point it shouldn't even concern you. But I think it does because if console goes to ish, that's gonna impact PC. Well, but tell Steam that. Steam is obviously saying that they're trying to go to console. Oh my goodness, so interesting. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Rebecca. I'd rather it be working as well. That's why I can't do betas. Do you do alphas and beta testing, Howdy?
Yeah.
I can't stand it. Because it'll be buggy and people are like, well, it's supposed to be like that. And I'll be like, no, I don't like it. Like it puts a bad taste in my mouth.
I mean, like, on one hand, I kind of like it, but on another, I prefer to play the finished project.
Yeah. It's like if you give me a dish and you're like, yo, this is half cooked. You want to taste it? Like I get it to taste like, oh, did you get the sauce right? But when you're like, oh yeah, like this is undercooked, but you can taste it if you're hungry. Like, no, I'm not gonna eat the main dish. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about beta and alpha testing. I'm like, no, I don't show it to me unless you're ready to show it to me.
I mean, one exception to that rule for me is Star Citizen. Because I play that every couple of months just to see where they have gotten to.
But Star Citizen's been delayed. Wasn't this supposed to come out in 2015?
The alpha was supposed to come out in 2015, which they launched.
Okay. But then they've been updating it.
Yeah. But they have said that they are aiming for a 2028 release date.
Oh my goodness. Anybody else into Star Citizen? We actually, out of all the interviews I've done on Shades of Purple, I don't think Star Citizen has come up once. It's actually pretty, maybe SPG talked about it. That's about it. So interesting. Point of difference, direction change, the opposite of Xbox Ally X. Maybe they are pivoting to avoid handheld wars. Oh no. Why would they pivot to avoid? Steam has sold more handhelds than all the other handhelds not named Nintendo combined. Why would they? If you're doing so well in the non-Nintendo handheld market, why would you cede ground to the hardware maker who just left the console wars? I don't know. It's not about Steam though. It's about a lot of bad console practices coming to PC. I don't know. It's just a thought, which I hope I'm wrong. Neos, but you're a console player who went to PC. Like, what makes you different than the other console players going? Like, Neos, you remind me of the hopefully you see the humor in this. Like in New York City during rush hour, the subways are packed, right? And you'll see people rush into the subway, right? And then this last person gets in and they're in. And then another person comes behind them. And then the last person is the most vicious person to be like, no, you can't come in. But it's like, but the other people let you in. So why aren't you letting them in? It's kind of like the US immigration system. And so then that person comes in and then the pattern repeats. Like then another person's like trying to get in there like, no, you can't come in. So like, why can't the other console people go play PC? I'm going to start Citizen in a Squadron 42 game. Ooh, granted, did you put money on it? Not concede, but diversity of increases as handheld sales will get split. Will they? Will they? I don't know. Like, if you already are dominating the handheld market, maybe will it? Like, I think you have Steam and everybody else. So it's like Xbox who's competing with, it's Asus, right? Asus competing with like Lenovo, who's competing with Dell, who's competing with like Logitech, who's competing with like that other one that looks like a brick. Like they're all competing. I think Steam is like, we're good. No, think console folks should have access to Steam just so they can have more games available for them. Oh, look at you being so what's the word I'm looking for? Charitable with your Steam library. Console people have thousands of games, but I want them to have tens of thousands of games. Niels, what are you talking about? You literally emulate games. I can't make this up. If Xbox offers what they promise, perhaps. What are they promising? What are they promising that Asus hasn't promised?
To mine is to play any game anywhere on any device. That's the only promise I can think of.
Whew. Audi coming out swinging on this one. I think you're right. But I don't think that you need the Xbox, or you don't need the Asus Ally X Xbox to do that. Right? Like theoretically, if their promise is to play there anywhere, then I could literally take the Lenovo whatever and get the same experience, right? Like I don't need the Xbox X. There's like 3 X's in that, and I can't say them all. Am I wrong? Y'all who are handheld gamers, let me know.
I don't think you're wrong.
Oh, thank you, Audi. Yeah, I bought the cheapest package for both games. No ships over price ship. Also, I bought a Lifetime Elite Dangerous Pass around the same time. Elite Dangerous 2 might be out by the same. Oh my goodness. That is called Here is the Money and Let Me Burn It. Burn, money, burn. Look, Mom, I made a fire. There we go. Handheld PCs are pretty decentralized. I have Steam, GOG. I can never say that word. People pronounce it as COG, but I pronounce it as GOG. And Epic on my ROG Ally. Even bought Silk Song on Steam today. So what is Xbox promising that you can't? I guess that's what is Xbox promising? We need vet for this topic. I'm just asking questions. We don't need to bring the crazy veteran into the conversation. I was on console purple, but was never a fanboy. And I'm not saying people can't come to PC. In fact, I encourage people to get one and try it out. I'm going to have to deconflict this with the message above. Emulation has nothing to do with anything, but you can do this on Xbox dev mode. Okay. He only cares about being a co-host, though. Exactly, Rouster. I think it's the promise of optimization for Windows-based games on the Xbox handheld that's supposed to be the allure. Yeah, let me read this again. Because I think it's the promise. Okay, they made a promise of optimization for Windows-based games. Okay, so are we saying like we don't have to tinker with it at all? Like it just comes straight out of the box ready to go? Because if that's the case, why don't we have optimized PC games on Windows? You know, like I've played enough games on PC that they don't come optimized that are Windows based just because I have Windows. I'm just trying to level set. I'm trying to understand. If I am misstating something, I invite the pushback. I just emulate because I enjoy playing games I haven't touched in years and can't even get those games anymore. Niels, you can definitely buy older consoles and buy those games. That I do know. Game Pass on handheld.
So from what I just watched, they promise a console-like seamless and optimized handheld gaming experience with the Xbox Ally.
So how's that different though from the regular Asus ROG Ally?
I don't
I just want to know why the Xbox part of the Asus ROG Ally. Like, what's the? I guess that's what I'm just saying. Like, what is Asus going to do so much different for the Xbox version besides having the thing that looks like an Xbox controller? What's so different?
Didn't they say that the Xbox did use their custom AMD architecture in it as well?
So their custom AMD, this great point, right? But as we talked about last week, their custom AMD architecture is basically just like it optimizes like it's like a facelift on games versus like a DLSS or like a tensor type of experience, which is actually optimizing within the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that's the case. If that's what we're saying, it's going to give you that glossy, like, thing. Maybe. I'll take that if that's what the promise is. If that's the promised land, I'll take it. I just simulate Game Pass on the handheld. But I thought we had Game Pass on the handheld. We don't have it on Steam, but I thought we had it on the other one. I don't know. People are like, Purple, I just won it. Okay. I got it. It's good for consumers. I got it. I'm not telling you not. Look, I bought... It's not down here. It's upstairs. I bought Switch 2. And people were like, why would you get Switch 2? And I was like, because I wanted it. So I totally get it. And I might be buying a Pixel Fold. Don't ask me why. But yeah, we'll see. Right now, you have to look. Okay, here. Xbox Ally will do Game Pass on a handheld with a console interface. Okay. But also plays some Steam games that don't work on Steam Deck. Ooh. I think Steam will have something to say about that. Right now, you have to look for Steam Deck verified games to be absolutely sure a game will run on handheld. So Xbox is saying their game, Xbox games, will run on Xbox Ally. You're saying, right, games. So they're saying the game will run on handheld. So Xbox is saving their game, Xbox games. Is it just Xbox games or is it any game? Is it any Windows-based game?
Roster did say that they removed some of the Windows 11 components from it as well.
Roster, I think so. Here's my thing. Y'all can push back. Maybe it's a Granite or a Crow. But I feel like Xbox has been saying this about their gaming operating system since the original Xbox. Push back. Push back. Have they not said you could literally they remove take away the 11 in that sentence, Audi, and you could literally say they remove components of Windows to optimize it for gaming. Is that not the same statement that they've been saying for 25 years?
True.
Like, I'm just saying, like, push back. Maybe I got it wrong. About 2 gigabytes less memory in use compared to regular Windows. I hear you, Rouster. I hear you. I'm just saying there's a point to where it becomes a little like it's almost like it's the company line to say when you're creating anything new with Xbox. They removed components for Windows. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. I believe it when I see it. Xbox fanboys will get... Ooh, Zalix talking console wars. Xbox fanboys will get hyped, split Steam Deck sales, whether Xbox delivers or not. But you're mistaken. Xbox... People who wanted a Steam Deck already bought a Steam Deck. What sales are there to split? You know what I mean? I think you're right. Xbox fan, like people who are like, I want to buy an X, they're going to buy it anyway. They like, some of these people are the same people who are like, I wouldn't get a Steam Deck. I just wonder how many people there are. I can download Game Pass PC games on my basic Rock Ally. So I don't need the Xbox version. Simpletons using fighting words. Also, controller will be able to control the interface fully. The ROG Ally can't do that. I love it. I love it. Never saw Rouster as an OS person, as a game launcher person, but he's showing that he loves his game launchers. I'm not buying old consoles that aren't going to last with a crap ton of dust in them. They refurbish them. They literally refurbish them. But even though I was on console, but I also still play games on PC, but never AAA or AA games until now. Makes sense? So you're playing AAA games from 2 generations ago on your PC. That's what you're emulating. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. I'm going to try line up and test the Xbox Ally X in October at PAX Gaming Expos. I'll let everybody know if it's good. Say, look, we're going to hold you to this, and I want a video of it.
Have you seen or played a Soul Frame?
Soul Frame, have I played it?
Yeah.
I have not. Should I?
I think you would like it.
Ooh. Say more.
Okay, so it is the sister game to Warframe. It's a slower combat. It's also, they have said it's more narrative driven versus mission based instances.
Is it on the Nintendo Switch?
It will be.
Okay. You know, I get excited when people say that. I'll look into it. I mean, I could go on the Xbox or the PlayStation, but I have a bet with myself to see how long I cannot turn on the PlayStation at the moment. And I don't want to lose it for Soulframe. Yes, I'm petty like that. For me, it's more about getting my first handheld that about being better than Rocket. Yeah, no, Rouster, I totally get it. Rouster, you've been talking about it for 6 months. I know you're super excited about it. I never got an Xbox console until 2 years because my when all this stuff is in PC. Game Pass and kids got me to change my mind. Nice. I got an Xbox because we lost Stadia. And then I got a second Xbox so I could play on where I stream and on my TV. And then I started playing on PlayStation. Don't ask me why I switched. I just did. But it works. I like my game large. I got a console and see how nice it is to have an interface designed for gaming. This is a good point. No, Purple. Nope. That's not what I'm emulating. What do you mean that's not what you just said? That's what you're emulating, Neos. I don't. Wait. Neos. You told me you got the PC so you can enjoy older titles. That's what you said. Are you playing or are you emulating current AAA and AA games? That's a big question. My only ever Xbox was the 360. It's a good one. Some would say that was peak Xbox. My brother has a 360. I think do I have it in here? No, I have an Xbox One in here, but I have an Xbox 360 somewhere in this house. I just don't have it in here. Scott bought a 360. No, I'm emulating old games. Okay. That's fair. But you're playing new games. Got it? I'm taking a trip back in time on the emulators. I'm playing Claire Obscure and Silks. Simpleton, why would you need to emulate? You have like everything. I don't know. Y'all are confusing me. How do you emulate?
I have, but only for games that are not readily available. So like NES.
What NES game is not readily available that you emulate?
Well, like the original Mario game that came out for that console.
So could you not play it on Mario? Could you not get a Nintendo Online subscription?
I have the Nintendo Online subscription, but not the expansion pass.
But the original Mario is part of the Nintendo Online subscription.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I needed the expansion pack.
The expansion is for the game, for the Nintendo GameCube games. And for the new DLC, maybe I'm wrong, y'all. I don't have my Nintendo in front of me, but check me on that. You know, I make up facts all the time. I make up facts.
It includes the Sega Genesis, Game Boy, Nintendo 64, and GameCube.
That's the Nintendo expansion.
Yeah.
So what's the regular Nintendo Switch Online? I'm now finally playing AAA and AA's from Steam, Xbox, and Epic Games. You know, on PC, you set that with so much pride. So much pride, Neos. You've graduated from, you're no longer, what games are you playing on PC that were not on console? Curious. Because sometimes it's nice to have it all under one roof, Purple. What? Like what? Under what roof? I just, what game is not under one roof? That's all I want to say. Xbox has backwards compatibility. I'm just asking questions, y'all. I don't know this stuff. Like, I was on Stadia. I think the industry was a contributing factor for me as well. Yeah, it's a sad time. Howdy, were you a Stadia player?
I was for a bit.
My goodness. My goodness. I'll never see something like it again. I only have the PS3 emulator and PS2 emulator. I've yet to get the others. All right.
Around that time, I was mainly testing out Xbox Cloud Gaming, but it was called Project X Cloud.
Project X Cloud. Yep.
Yeah. I was a part of that closed beta around
Ooh.
that time.
Did it run better than it does today?
It did.
Howdy, you're not supposed to say that. Oh my goodness. Well, you're not alone. I feel like Holtz is the only person who feels like Xbox got better. But I think Xbox Cloud Gaming got worse. I'm not going to lie. I think it got worse over the last 3 years. All right, let's see what else are you saying. You make up facts. Are you a GPT? I am an LLM, a large language model. Yes. Because I had the Switch emulator not so long ago. Oh my goodness, Neos, you had the Switch. My God, don't sit, Neos. You're gonna get this shit. You're gonna get this channel not taken down, Neos, with this illegal conversation talk. Y'all think I'm joking? They took down one of my videos because of something similar. Oh my goodness. A one-stop shop for old stuff. It's called your retro gaming store. Why aren't you buying local? My goodness. Heathens. You can also do game mods on handheld PCs. Simpleton, what game mod are you doing? Simpleton, what game mod are you doing? I want to, tell me, what is the mod that you have? What game and what mod are you doing on your handheld? I'm curious. You're just asking questions. Are you? Oh my goodness! I did show a fox earlier. There he is. My goodness.
Oh, from Tunic?
Yeah. You know, it's part of my at what point does it get? At what point is it imitation and inspiration versus copycat? Obviously, we would say it's a fox. But if you play Tunic, that is very similar to Zelda. If Purple is out,
played Tunic.
You never played it?
No.
Oh, it goes on sale. It's very similar to Zelda. They're very open that they were inspired by it. Very, very open. Her and Wit must be. Oh my goodness, we have to post that one, Rouster. We do. Nintendo has micro. They do. But I think it balances out. Like we talked pretty. We gave Nintendo props about their propaganda article. I toted the company line. I felt like I bought us a little bit of leeway. You know what I mean? It's like Jonestown. I drank the Kool-Aid. I drank the purple drink. Oh, that's kind of dark. It's kind of dark. So purple. I always played all my games on my PS5 and Xbox. This guy. He had everything. I'm saying purple. And finally getting to experience the best version of these games on PC, and it's not illegal. Stop it. You emulating the Nintendo game. We've gotten into this argument with Severin. I will neither confirm nor or what is the word I wanted to say? It's a C. I will not endorse the practice. Let me say it like that. I will not endorse that practice. But as they say, as the young ones say, you do you, boo. The only games I've ever modded is The Sims. Robolica, I would have it no other way. One day I'm gonna randomly have a Sims update just for Robolica. I don't make my own mods though. But I do recolor assets. Robolica is edgy. So edgy. I like it. She's on the wild side there. I'm a train, but I need to. No worries, Roster. Take care. Yeah, we have Audi here, so I'm taking the moment because we don't get Audi too often. Condone. That's the word. There are some license games from the past that aren't easy to get now. I could say the same thing about TV shows. As a former pirate, I disagree, Neos. Don't tell it. Ambi did hard time for modding, for emulating. Ambi's he's been in the slammer for it. Imagine that. Went to Rucker Island, right? Pelican Bay. And why? Because he emulated a Super Nintendo game. I'm joking. But that would be a pretty funny. I think I could do a pretty funny skit about that. There was a Sims EP trailer. I need to watch this. You could play Republica's update. I should. Emulation is not illegal, Purple. Going into the 7 Seas is, but gotta love VPNs. Oh my goodness. So you deliberately, Neos, I don't understand. If it's so much, why are you using a VPN? Neos, what do you think? As someone, or not Neos, Audi, what do you think? Do you think emulating a Nintendo game is illegal?
It depends. Like, on one hand, I would say it's more unethical. In the US, it is not explicitly illegal, but in other countries it is. So depending on where you are, say France, I believe it is illegal to use emulation to play a game that you do not own.
But if you do own it,
then generally you own the rights to emulate that copy of that game.
Should we use Granite's if you have to ask? Maybe it's too far. Should we use that one today? No, I'm joking. No, I think, yeah. So it would have to be an ethical thing. So that's what you're saying. You're saying it's ethically, you need to own the copy of the game.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, then it is illegal.
Yeah.
Hey, Lo-Fi, welcome. So glad to I know I have not mentioned anything, Lo-Fi. It's definitely your story to tell, but thank you for being here, Lo-Fi. I know you've had a heck of the last 2 to 3 months. If you own a physical, I only consider it slightly. But if it's not being sold anymore, is it stealing though? Ooh. But you can buy it. You can literally go buy a copy of a physical game. Like, is it stealing? Howdy. If he doesn't own the game, if he does not own is he stealing at that point?
I would say yes because you don't own it, so you're essentially taking IP that you did not pay for and using it.
Because I haven't seen Super Mario Galaxy. Really? Let me see. Let me see this. Super Mario Galaxy video game. I'm looking at it right now. From the Wii. At GameStop for $25. I can actually buy it on eBay for $12.70. So I found it. I actually found multiple copies of it. I don't know. Or you could be like Simpleton, just be like, he once knew a girl named Galaxy, great dancer. I'm home now. Oh, great to hear, Lo-Fi. I don't always use a VPN, but I always remember to turn it on for perfectly legal time. That's what it sounds like. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious at the moral loopholes that Neos is going to have to push himself through right now. Because he could have taken Simpleton's approach, like, yeah, of course I own it. But he didn't do that. He's now admitting he doesn't own the copy of the game, and he's now emulating it. Which it's now like, we're giving you the benefit of the doubt. Now, let's see the mental gymnastics that are about to happen. But you can't steal something that's not being sold anymore in stores. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Howdy, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so say if I go up to wherever the Mona Lisa is, right? And if I take that's stealing, but that's not being sold in stores.
Oh, ooh. The logic holds. You're not making a profit off of it anymore, though. I used to own it. I mean, do you have it now? I did know, Greg. Oh, but 2 eyes. Look at you, Simpleton. You would put 2 eyes. There are very few games that aren't rare. They're just expensive to buy now. You should move to Canada. Downloading is generally... Oh, wow, Granite. What is Granite saying? What did Rabolica make him pull down? I mean, do you currently possess the license? You can't compare that to that, bro. Come on now. I mean, it technically is what he used is a simple trick they do in logic. He took the most extreme example that's similar to it. And if it still holds true, it's a form of rhetoric. Like okay, so if you're saying that's too extreme, Neos, where is the line then? If you don't own something and you're actually still, okay, so let's use a movie, right? If you downloaded a movie that you don't own or whatever and you're watching it, you pirate it. This was a whole Napster case, right? Like this is the whole, like this has been argued before. Like where is the line? You literally said, I am enjoying something that I don't have the license for. So why do you get to enjoy it for free when other people had to pay for it? Downloading is generally legal. Distributing it is not. There you go. There you go, you socialist commie pigs. joking. It's only silly if you keep playing the game over. Otherwise, it's just a demo. Look, Lo-Fi is very well versed in these conversations. Napster is illegal in Canada because the protocol also uploads. This is getting very. It seems I am amazed that so many of you all are very. This is how you know that people realize that they were doing something in the gray, Audi, because they're like they have become super legal experts right now. Like they have convinced themselves that I didn't break the law. Like look, Purple, I know the it just seems like this one has really brought them out. Thanks for the call. Pigs are intelligent. You're right. So are crows, as we found out. They can count to 8. Piracy is back on the rise as streaming services got greedy and keep removing stuff. So Zalik, you too are a pirate. I still have 11 days worth of content from Napster. That Rabolica. How? Why? Where? What are you doing? Like, what are you remotely? I don't even think I have 11 days worth of content in my life. It's like, I could probably do it in like, maybe an hour. Inlayers also have games that may not have been released in your region. If you want to be a rebel and play a game you don't own. I love this. I love the fact that people are, they're all with the excuses right now. Sounds like a personal problem. Which one? I it's not a problem for me. There is not something I want to enjoy that I cannot enjoy, and I don't have to. I can sleep well knowing that I paid for it. But you do you know. Eventually, you're gonna have to answer for that. You know. Audiobooks. Oh, okay. Reading. All right. I was like, Rabak, how many songs is this? Go ahead, Neo. Or Audi, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing on what you were saying.
Oh. About have to live with yourself? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that should I don't know. I don't think it's a personal problem. I think some people can justify anything. Make the content super convenient and people are less likely to steal. I think they have made it convenient. I don't think it's hard to but that's my point. Like, I could understand if we're talking about something you can't readily get. But you're going to find me hard pressed to say you can't get Mario Galaxy.
And I just looked up too. The first Mario game, I see it on eBay for like $16.
But you can also play it if you can emulate it. That means you download it. You have an internet connection, right?
Yeah.
But the first Mario game does it come with Switch Online?
Yes, it does.
So therefore it's like the same thing when people are like, "Oh, Nintendo's taking down the music." And then they created the Nintendo Music app, which comes with the Nintendo Switch Online account, right? But people are still saying like, "Oh, I it's another excuse." Like they can make it available, but I think there's always another excuse, and I think it always comes back to people just don't want to pay for it. I think that that is at the heart of the conversation. Say it ain't so. Someone tell me like, no, Purple, I will pay for it, but say like, because I just showed, like, I just told how you can get it numerous ways. Hey, Purple, people wouldn't pirate stuff if people still made things available. Oh no, that's like saying people wouldn't steal things if people still like. No, that's not true. That's not true. I don't think there's anything. I think that's a noble like thing to say. Like if they still made it available, it's still available. You know, like I can't go get a Kenny G CD right now. Does that mean I just go pirate Kenny G? No. Like I then go buy a digital copy of the game or of the Kenny G thing. Now, if you were to tell me like, yo, I want to play some like, I don't know, let me use a Nintendo game that's probably not out there right now. Predator on any Bible Adventures on NES. That would be something. You steal Bible Adventures. Like, yeah, that's not on Nintendo Switch Online. That would actually be kind of sad. But if you stole it. But yeah, piracy is an economic ways. Very few things are actually unavailable. I agree, Grant. I don't think it is. Sims 1 and 2 are not available for years. If you wanted to try them, you had to download them from somewhere. As of January of this year, both games are available again, minus some content in Sims 2. So now, are people buying it or are they pirating it though? Anime piracy in North America used to be rampant. Now there's Crunchyroll and other streaming services, and most anime isn't easily available to pirate anymore. So is it because the streaming services are? Is it because they made the streaming services, or they made it more difficult to pirate? Or is it the combination?
I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah, I would agree, Audi. I think it's a combination. So, but in order to make it more difficult, I think the original Mario conversation we brought up is a great example. Like, they've made it available and they're making it more difficult to do it, but people still pirate it. You know, I think it takes a pretty coordinated effort. And I think a TV show is actually kind of harder to get. I still mad at whoever made the series from, because they took it off Prime to put it on their own streaming app that I refuse to pay for. But Simpleton, to be very fair, From was always on the MGM app or whatever it is. You just were able to get, the whole purpose was so you could get a taste of From and then go buy the app. Like that was the point. That was not like they took it from you. They allowed you to taste it. And then if you wanted to keep the series, you would go watch the app. That was the bait and switch, as they say. That is not a defect. That is a feature. I found you a Kenny G. Which one? Bible Avengers sounds fun and educated. Is Bible Adventures. But Bible Avengers, this is a true game. This is a real game, Audi, that I'm talking. Bible Adventures, you could play as Noah from Noah's Ark. You could be, you could carry baby Moses. And the third one was David and Goliath. It's a true game. It's a real game called Bible Adventures. People are buying Sims. They made it easier to access anime. Okay, the ESPN situation, they ate. Now charging $30 a month. Once WWE went to ESPN, people left and started to pirate and buy VPNs. Okay, so your thing isn't about availability then. It's about price. Right? Like that's the thing. It's about price. It's like pay-per-view. Because your argument just now has said you've now you've added another variable. You've added $30 to the variable. So there's a threshold here. The Mario Galaxy may be about how available is the physical console to play it. Zayla, that's a different question. That's a different question. But do you need but this is the argument here is, do you have the game and do you have the license to play the game? Now, if you have the game, like if Neos, or whoever says like, hey, I have the game and I'm emulating, this is Severin's argument. Neos is saying he no longer owns the game. That's the question. It has nothing to do with the actual console. You know what I mean? But I would still say the console, you can still find the console. Like, there's not a console I cannot find. Unless we're talking like, what was the original Nintendo thing? The one that was released in Japan? Like something like that, maybe. Forever love the best. You know, it's $15.44 on Amazon in Canada. Well, now that it's available, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna download it. I'm just gonna download it. I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay it. $15.44. I don't want to pay it. I do not want to pay anything above $9.25. See, like, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, no, it's like, no, Purple, you were not going to pay for it. I'll take my free sample and stuff. I grow the projects. I'm immune to that sales method. You're going to take the free. Oh, see, simpleton. And there you go. Where's Rouster where it's like, is it good for the consumer argument? Where's Rouster when you need him?
I'll say this. So if you say go to Wendy's and you order fries and they tell you it's like $4, let's just say that. And then you are like, I don't want to pay it. They're not going to give you that food.
They will not. They will not. But if you punch the Wendy's person, there's a chance that they will throw the things that the fries are in. You know, you got to think outside the box. This is creativity, you know? But no, I think there's always, what we have found is the chat is very open to stealing when it is convenient. This is what I have found out. I should have done a poll. Because I feel like this is definitely a shades of morality right now. There are some shows that are just not available on any streaming service. These are specific Korean dramas I've been looking for lately, not available in Canada at all. So because they're not available, Rabalika, are you willing to acquire them by other means? Let me say it like that. Who's around here? Oh, we got Lo-Fi. Audi, so we got Lo-Fi. I'm going to bring him on, but any last words you want to say? Audi, did we lose Audi? I think we did. Audi, any last words? I hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess. Any last words before the end of the stream?
Or no, well, we got Lo-Fi coming. Lo-Fi just hopped on in the background.
Oh. Okay. So, my last words would be game development. You should, because it would a career that has opportunity and a lot of potential.
Yadi, what was that last sentence? A lot of opportunity and a lot of potential?
Yeah.
All right. Well, and Audi is a game developer. Audi, why don't you shout out your game?
Well, currently I've been working with Nintendo to make Metroid Prime 4.
So you actually know when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's been holding back. Oh, that's so Ali, will you be in the credits? Oh my goodness. We're going to get it just for that. Ali. Oh, he left the best detail to the Ali. We're going to have to bring you back on. Thank you so much for coming by, Audi. Oh my goodness. I can't believe he held that back. Held that. Oh my goodness. Look at that bombshell he just dropped there. All right. Thank you so much, Audi, for coming by. All right. We're going to bring in Lo-Fi. Thank you again, Audi. That's super cool. Lo-Fi, what's going on?
Absolutely.
Can you hear me okay? I got a different microphone and it kind of sucks.
It sounds like you're under a sandcastle.
Oh, let's see if I can fix it. Is this better?
It's getting better.
It's getting better.
Better. Let me see if I can help you out here.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, Grant. Yeah, we're going to probably call it a night here pretty soon as well. It's getting kind of late. But Lo-Fi, what's going on? I know we haven't talked. You've been going through a lot.
Yeah, I've been busy being sick, but I'm dealing with it. I'm home.
Lo-Fi, do you want to, you don't have to, by the way, do you want to tell people who don't know what's been going on? Or you'll say that at the right time?
I mean, well, I recently found out that, I found out the hard way that I'm a diabetic. But, you know, life goes on, and I'm staying positive. I'm good.
Lo-Fi, do you mind if I expand on it? I don't, because I think you're I'm not gonna, but I just want to kind of So let people know what you've been dealing with over the last 2 months or so, if
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, it's been longer than that. I didn't pick up on it.
Yeah. So if y'all did not know, Lo-Fi has lost roughly 60 pounds.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Lo-Fi has lost roughly 60 pounds over the last few months. Started having some back issues about a few weeks ago, or a few months ago, actually, but they got really unbearable a few weeks ago. Had lost a ton of weight, could not put the weight back on, and had to be rushed to the emergency room a few weeks ago. They had no idea what was going on with him. Last week at this time, you actually lost your vision, right, Lo-Fi?
yeah. It's still really bad.
Yeah.
I spent about 4 days in ICU.
So he was in the intensive care unit. They had no idea what was going on. He had a lost his vision pretty bad. He still has not recovered his vision. There's a chance that he might not recover his vision. We're fingers crossed. There's a slim chance he will. But they ran a bunch of tests and it came back that he is a diabetic now, and so his partner, family are going through some time as they navigate just what that means for him, as well as what's going on. So even though he is like he's lo-fi, he's putting on a good face, as the smiley face is. Uh, there was a lo-fi was in a is like going through a life altering situation. And
I
Grant is go ahead, lo-fi.
I was gonna say I'm still having a hard time kind of walking and stuff, but I mean it's just gonna take some time, and I think I'll be okay. I'll recover. I mean, I'm always gonna be a diabetic now, but yeah, it's just a life change.
No, I think you're, but lo-fi, I think you're,
I'm probably down,
um,
but
I'm glad you're talking. I mean, I know last week around this time, we talked and you're like, you're in the emergency room, you don't know what's going on. So I think, you cross one bridge, but there's more ahead of you, but it sounds like you got the right mindset.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm part time vegan now.
Part-time vegan. Does that mean part-time carnivore?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Kind of like a steak half eaten type of situation. You know?
yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that.
Uh okay, I joined the diabetic club last year too. Oh no, Granite. Wow. Yeah, I think lo-fi, I mean, was in the hospital before, came out, and unfortunately uh had a situation where just your sugar level dropped to dangerous
No,
lethal levels. Like,
way it went way. I think my blood sugar was over 500 when I got to the ER. Like something crazy. I don't know, but uh, they took good care of me and everything's kind of normal. I mean, my blood sugar still runs a little high, but I got medication. I'm eating right. I'm trying to get exercise in, and like, um, I'll put it this way, like I had a really hard time walking upstairs at first, and like I've only been home a couple of days, and now I can go up and down the stairs, and like I think it's just gonna be a little a little road ahead of me, and I won't I don't think I'll ever be 100% again, but I can still I can still be me. I'm not letting it change me as far as my personality and stuff like that. I'm always gonna try to be a force of positivity.
mm, no, I love how, we're always here for you, man. Like I said, I mean, you basically had organ failure. You know what I
I
mean?
I did, but it's working now. But it's just not working hard enough. My pancreas is producing insulin, but it's not enough for me to like pig out. Like, or I say pig out. I can't have a soda. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. I can't have candy. I can't have anything with sugar in it. I gotta stay away. It's bad.
Yeah. Well, hey, man. I think like I said, I think you have the right. Uh, you got definitely the right attitude, which I can't say for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. I know some people like it gets you down, and it's hard to. You start spiraling, and that's not me. You
Yeah.
know, I got good people around me that care about me. I got friends, and that's like that's all I need anyway. So yeah, I'm good. Don't
Yeah.
worry about fight. He's gonna be all right.
Well, no, we're definitely gonna still be here for you though, man. You know, like it was you're kind of like the first you know, during the Stadia days. You know, you were like the first one. We had the cloudy thoughts. You
Oh,
know
it's so sadness. While I was in the hospital, I got a notification from YouTube that they're deleting our old episodes.
why?
I have them set to private, but that theme song, now it's a copyright. When it
Oh
was
my,
like, it was made by Streamer Beat. It
oh
was
my
supposed to
god.
be forever, I was like, I knew that was going to catch up to me.
Oh man, there's some classics there.
So many, so many.
Oh man, they're not. There's a oh my god, nuts are a good snack, and Simpleton would catch that. Oh my goodness. No, man. But I mean like y'all like I said and there's other things I don't want to put your personal business out there, but there's other things that obviously there's the physical side of it, there's the
Yes,
lifestyle change side of it, there's um the financial side of it, right? There's a lot of things that we're very well aware that you're having to navigate. So, you know, anything that the community can do, we're here, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah. No, but I mean, this community is awesome, and like, the friendship is all I need. You know, I've gotten tons of support for the boys over in the Cyborg City Discord with Ray and SPG and everybody. Like, I couldn't ask for more. It's everybody's been great.
Definitely. Well, like I said, you know, we may not be the cyborg city people, even though most of us are also in that Discord too. But we're definitely still, you know, I'm
Oh
glad
yeah,
you're here. I'm glad you're here. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm glad you're here. That's a
yeah.
win.
I was like, I can get there. It took me forever to get this microphone to work, so I hope it's not too bad.
No, it's fine, man. Dude, so it's the least things. I turned you up a little bit, so I think we're good.
Awesome.
Chat can hear what you're saying, so that's good. And yeah, no, totally fine.
But yeah, man, I heard you guys talking about some piracy.
Oh my goodness, how would I know that you would have the the expert opinion on this?
Oh man, I'm all about the pirate party. I'm all about like I beg to disagree about convenience.
I beg to disagree about convenience. Okay, go tell us wise one.
You
What are we
think people
missing?
take the long road?
You said what?
I said, do you think people are going to take the long, hard road, or they're going to take the easy road?
I mean, no, my argument that it doesn't have to do with convenience. I think it's just a general thing. If someone wants to take something, they're going to take it. I
Oh,
don't
sure,
like
it'll be road,
however they reason it, like that's where I think
but
that's where my thing with Neos is. I don't know if he's still in chat, but it's like once just say like, yo, I don't want to pay for it. It's free and I can or I know how to get it for free, so I'm gonna take it for free. I'm gonna take the path of least resistance.
Yeah, I would download a car. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like if you just say that, then what do I have? Like then I have to be like, okay, well, at the end of the day, that's on you. Like you live your life like that, I'm gonna live my life. But when you start to now make some like moral argument on convenience and human nature and
Well, I'm
that, like I'm
saying
like,
the less.
okay,
I'm not saying that it stops piracy. And like you could take Netflix for example, or not even just not Netflix specifically, but you got Hulu and Disney, and piracy's on the rise. And why? Because Disney and all of them have made streaming less convenient. They've made it to where it's overpriced and it's over here. Now it's over there. I can't get my shows that I want if I'm in the wrong region. Like, piracy doesn't have none of that. And it's instant.
so yeah, but my thing is like there's a point to where like so I think convenience is subjective, right? I think, and that's why I say like just I'm I will find a way to still pay for it. That's on me, right? But I think
Well, there's
that
studies show that pirates do tend to spend more money on this stuff.
they
Like,
spend more money.
there's studies on it. Yeah. There's actually,
What studies are this? Tell me, how is this making sense? People who steal things are actually spending more money than the people who pay for it. Tell
well,
me,
there's
where's the logic on this?
merchandise. There's also the fact that, like, some people, like you were talking about morals, like, if you enjoy a game, they'll probably spend money with those people that made the thing they like. Like, as a matter of fact, my first venture into piracy was on this website called ninjavideo.net. And you know who was putting the movies a lot of the time on that website? The people who made them, because they had a podcast and they would interview the actors from the movie.
Okay, so I am not disagreeing with ninjavideo.net. I'm trying to understand your original statement in the studies that say someone who steals something is actually spending more money on the thing than the person who's actually paying for the thing.
So like I said, I've been a long time piracy fan. And there is a website also
I'm
called
answering this.
com, and it's basically a magazine about trends in piracy. And they, if you go over there, you can find all kinds of studies they've done on piracy and different laws in different countries. They update it all the time. I maybe they don't anymore. It's been a while since I've been there, but like it used to be a really good resource for news in piracy. But yeah, there's been studies because of what happened with the Pirate Bay in Sweden. They did a lot of studies on that because they were trying to stop them and they couldn't.
I feel like there's so many people throwing out so many different arguments, and y'all are all like, something is about to stick on the wall. Like you're like, I have Zalik here who's bringing out like entire like PhD theses. I have Lo-Fi who's bringing out like ninjavideo.net examples. I have Neos who's holding the line that's like, yeah, it just feels good to me. You know, I have, Simpleton over here who's like,
99.
I just do it for fun. You know, like I have Rabolica who's like,
Well,
one
here's
once upon a time.
and you love it, you should buy it. If we're talking about gaming specifically, like if you love it, you should support the people who make it. But there's a lot of games out there that are just junk, and you're gonna download them to your computer, and you're never gonna touch them. They're just there. It's almost like comfort. But also, from time to time, you got indie developers that'll be like, "Yeah, pirate my game." Like they will straight up say it.
Yeah,
So like,
because they have not. It's like they're giving something for.
you're a bad person if you pirate a bunch of indie games. Leave that alone.
But I think that's also like a marketing. Like that's something different. If the indie dev is telling you, "Hey, I'm giving you the license to just," it's like someone who makes a song and makes it royalty free, right? Like, you know what I mean? So that's a different argument. But if it's something where I like I said, I think it'd just be much easier, much more easy to do what you said earlier, which is like Disney raised the price. I'm not paying for it, so I'm gonna steal it. And it's like, all right, well, that's her that was the camel that broke the straw's back. lo-fi, you have the making of a pirate, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But I feel like where you have these like we as a society we get into these weird situations where it's like let me give you some logical.
So you feel like people are twisting reality to fit their own narrative?
Oh no, never. Yes, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, we all do that, right? But no, I mean, everybody when you talk to pirate, somebody's from the piracy, you'll you'll or seen kids, it's like, dude, everybody's got their own moral code, right? Like, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much the end. I mean that's the answer.
I love how you have like four different things. You're like, yeah, we talk to pirates, yeah, and then, but yeah, the Steam key, but yeah, everybody has their moral code. Deuces, like that's what you just said.
Yeah, I'm just saying everybody's got their line in the sand,
Which is what I said. Just say that. Just say like there's a point to where if you want something, right, you are going to and you and if it's affordability, which is what your Disney example is.
yeah. Well,
There's
not
a,
even affordability, like availability, convenience of it. Like you get on one like HBO Max. How many times does that thing change?
okay, Lo-Fi again. What does this have to do with the cover? You're saying the price increase?
No, I'm saying they move content from one place to another. Like they do
Because
it all
that's
the
their
time.
yeah. So like my thing is,
Like it's turned back into cable TV, where like you pay a premium, you don't even get all the channels you
so
wanted.
you stole cable TV too.
Uh, who it's, it's on TV. I mean, it's already on the Pirate Bay. You don't if you can't get it on TV, you just who even needs TiVo anymore?
So you're
It,
just saying like you just pirate everything.
I mean, yeah, why not? I'm just saying, I'm telling the audience that it's okay. Just do you. If it feels good, do it, bro.
Oh my
No,
god.
no. I don't know. I don't think there's really like an argument against someone that does it. You know what I mean? Like that's my point. Like I said, everybody's got their own little line in the sand and their whole reason for doing it.
No, I that's fair. That's fair. I think it's interesting. I think like if you just say it like if you say like, hey, my line in the sand is like I am going to steal once it gets so expensive at this point, whatever it is, or when it's no longer of value to me.
I buy my games. I don't always trust that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like it depends.
Okay,
But
there you go. So he buys it, but I'm just saying like but I think like if we just get to that point where it's like, hey, there's a point to where it is an inconvenience to me or it is no longer the value for me, I will steal it. Okay, just that's it. And then the argument's a lot like okay, that's a lot more simple. That's all.
yeah, well, it's too convenient to steal.
You said it's too convenient to steal when it becomes too convenient to steal.
No, I'm saying it's just flat out just too convenient to stream from a pirate site than it is to have all these services. If you're talking about movies, when you talk about gaming, I don't know. I don't know what always appeal is. I think it's mostly cash. Who knows?
Hmm.
Speak for the man.
Interesting. Off HBO Max. So time to pirate. Look at Neos. I love it. This is the line in the sand where you're willing to break the law. I love it. Cartoon Network. I need these cartoons. I'm gonna steal. I love it.
They're yours. I
Robin
give
Hood
them.
vibes here.
You need a website to find them. I help y'all out. DM me.
I mean, I think so. I think like there is definitely this idea. This is where Robin Hood came from.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, yeah, we're just,
a
you
little
know,
bit on some of this stuff, perp. I mean, how deep do you want to go?
what do you mean?
Maybe we'll talk off camera.
Oh, My goodness, but it is getting late. It's getting late. Lo-fi. Um, we're gonna shut it down here pretty soon. It's almost 11:30. I meant to shut it down like an hour ago. But gaming and TV piracy are two separate debates. Ooh, look at that. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all are making random, like, ethical, logical leaps to defend your stand. You're like, but TV shows are different than gaming. Like, what's the difference? Like,
I
you're
mean,
like, but this one, I went, no, Purple, don't be ridiculous.
you might have two different relationships with the two. You know what I'm saying?
I love how you're like, oh, yes, that. It's like, I love it. I love it. Just say it. However
Well,
I
like,
feel, that's how the wind blows.
good reason why they're two different debates, right? Like you might pirate a movie and watch it once. You know what? You're gonna get a game, and then you might be playing it for years.
Okay, I'm not too sure. Are we trying to say like the value of a movie versus the value of a game?
No, I'm just saying like that's maybe the difference there between the two.
Yes, I agree. We consume it differently, but I'm just saying the overall act of someone created something, initially put
Oh,
it
it
on.
wasn't good reason. I was just saying maybe that's why I was just
Right,
reading
either
into.
you're doing one thing really taking someone's IP. Yeah, that there when you put. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. Maybe we may touch it on another one, but lo-fi. Take us home. Like you, obviously, you're recovering.
You
Are we good? You know
find
what?
me
Go ahead.
www.ipiratemyshiz.lofi.com. Um, but I'm recovering. You know what really makes me angry is I can't eat any of the Mexican candies I like to eat, which is all of them.
Uh, maybe you can start a business and make a diabetic version.
Okay, you know what? I told my wife today because we went out the house and did a bunch of stuff so I could get my steps in. Try
Yeah.
to like a little baby Bambi, just wobbling my legs around. I look. I told her because I swear before this happened, I go to the store and I reach for the cookies and I think I'm getting the cookies I want to get home and they're like sugar free and I'm mad. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, sugar free stuff getting in my way all the time. Now I go to the store, it's not on the shelf. Can't find any of it. Don't know where it is. I'm angry. And I told my wife, I'm like, you know what? I see a problem. Maybe I should make a solution. So Mick Lo-Fi is coming soon to you.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so
So
much,
we got
lo-fi.
happy meals, we got sad meals.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
joking. I shouldn't say that.
My goodness. But lo-fi, like, no, I mean, I appreciate you coming on. Obviously, it's great to hear your voice. Great to hear that you're out of the hospital, out of the ICU. That you're getting out a little bit, and that you're still lo-fi. So that's super awesome.
Well, it's good to be here. Glad to hang out with you guys. Glad we could get the chat stirred up. And, you uh, everybody, remember you're blessed to be here.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Lo-Fi. And thank you again, Zalik, for the conversation. I love how Zalik was defending Sony and saying Tencent shouldn't copy, but at the same time was like, well, I'll pirate when I want. I love the collage of morality
I just
that
can't
was
fire.
displayed here today. Truly was. I'm gonna have to reread some of y'all's comments. Like, it's truly amazing when you look at it.
We're
And
all hip.
I'm pretty sure there's like some psychological theory that explains so that all of this makes sense somewhere. But thanks so much for Lo-Fi. Also, y'all remember that Audi is trying to get affiliate. We'll be streaming at 2 p.m. Eastern over there on Twitch. Just needs 3 concurrent viewers at any given time for it to count. Also, Zalik will be diving back into Cyberpunk tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be here on Saturday doing my Orcs Must Die, and Sunday, I know Rouser was in stream earlier, will also be streaming Saturday. Rabolica will be doing her stuff next week on Sims. We will be checking out Sims. And who did I miss? Anybody? Did I miss? Chariot Man was here earlier. Y'all know Chariot Man does an amazing job. And Neos, he's been putting out more content. So shout out to Neos. All right, y'all. With that said, I'm gonna shut this one down. Thank you so much again for all the stuff. And again, shout out to Zalik again. All right, with that said, I don't care where you game, how you game, what you game on, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. Maybe I should say I don't care if you pirate. Maybe I should put that in there to make this an inclusive space. Maybe I should make this an inclusive space. No, I don't want to get shut down. And as always, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plan. All right, y'all, take care, and I will see you on the next one. Cool little guitar music here. Purple.